Hello and welcome to the 110th episode spectacular cavalcade of fun and mystery brought to you by a bunch of nerds. Hello, we are the Inglorious Bards. We're excited to be here. This is something we've been planning for a long time, and by a long time, I mean haphazardly a few days ago. I was thinking about, boy, we've had so many episodes. We got to start planning for our big 100th. And then when I did the math, I went, wait, 37 episodes season 1, 12 season 2, 16 plus 45 more for season 3. Oh, we blew past that a long time ago. So here we are celebrating randomly the 110th episode we just finished last week. So first of all, cheers for everyone here at the table for all your great gaming and all that great stuff. Good job, everyone. Holy cow. 110 episodes. Who thought we'd be here?
This is crazy.
Absolutely.
Actually, that's a great question to start with. Who thought we'd be here? How many of you expected to make to 110 episodes? Did anybody?
No, sir.
Not based on campaign history, no.
And just remind our new watchers and everybody, how did this all start? Who was the original crew, and how did it get to this group of weirdos that it is now?
Who was the original crew?
It was the first 4, right?
Are we talking like original this season
one.
or
Season 1?
Season 1.
Episode 1?
I think I was
there.
Seth, Chris, Tim, and Christopher.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then myself. I think the impetus was I've done a ton of role-playing in the past, and I came back moving to Oregon and start up again with some folks and got Chris involved, got Seth involved, brought Tim into it, and brought Christopher into it. And we're playing these different games just at the dining room table, and some cool campaigns we were doing, very unique campaigns. And I started listening to some podcasts, and I'm like, man, we could kind of do something like that. We're making each other laugh our asses off like crazy. What's the chance there are people just crazy enough out there who have the same stupid sense of humor that we do that might in any way find this entertaining? I'm like, nah, maybe. And then we talked about it, and I wasn't sure because I was like, if we do this, we got to go big. We got to put all the effort behind it. And then we decided to do it. And here we are.
Wow.
110 episodes later.
all we had for the first few weeks were B&H catalogs on the floor, and we need one of these and 3 of these.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Okay, how do we arrange this? Drawing it up like I was a kid doing maps back long ago when I was in early school, and that's
so
my fun time.
So saying that, going from the Switch to now having Foundry, this automatic system that's just got the maps that Tom can just click in, and I'm sure there's a lot of work Tom's doing behind the scenes we're not seeing, of course, but for us, we just get to come in and play. But it's so advanced. What is the feeling like for you guys to go from tabletop to virtual tabletop, I guess?
It's weird, man. We started this around Tom's dining room table, and then we made a dungeon down in his basement, and for a year we've been at home. It's kind of crazy, but it's definitely progressed into something I never thought it would be. It's good.
I would say everything Seth said, except for that we made a recording studio out of a dungeon. I think is
Yes, that is more appropriate.
more accurate.
Once we cleared out all the inappropriate stuff, we had room for a table and everything.
Most of the inappropriate stuff.
I mean, the skeleton stayed.
Yeah.
There's literally a skeleton right there.
Some people will think, what do you mean? Oh yeah, there were skeletons, there were barrels, lots of Comic-Con level stuff in there. I think had to be pushed aside and made a great background for what we were doing.
I remember when we started, I set a goal of if we can get 15 people interested in our show, then it'll be worth the effort to put forward. And then the goal is after 6 months to double that. If we can double that to 30 people, that would be cool. Think about that. 30 people like every week tuning in to hear and see what you've got. And now we have hundreds
7.
every single week. Yeah, it's gone down. But we're hanging in there. Yeah, but yeah, it's just amazing how many people have had listened to our show and how many people are diehard fans at times, which we absolutely adore. Yeah, it's been humbling at times as well.
Yes, definitely.
So my count, we had season 1, 37 episodes. That's a lot. That is definitely a lot. Season 2 was 12 episodes. Season 3 is 61 episodes. Just this season alone. And if you take...
Oh, go ahead.
And if we take all 110 and average it around 3.5 hours, we're looking at more than 380 hours of content. And if you did like your full-time job of 40 hours a week just to listen to our show, you're talking 2.5 months. That'd be some great adventures that you'd enjoy during those 2.5 months. But wow, is that a lot of content put out?
That's professional development is what that is.
All those people who caught up real quick to who were a little behind during the pandemic, man, 2.5 months. I love it.
Were you gonna
Tom,
say,
how
Tim?
much time would you say that you put in, like in the background for each episode on average?
I think my wife put it as it's a part-time job. On top of the full-time job that I have, it's a part-time job. So just recently I put a little bit of audio announcing this episode tonight, this celebration tonight. And when I did, I used our audio editing software, Adobe Audition, and I realized I haven't used that for over a year. And I used to put in hours and hours, like 1.5 days of work, editing and mixing, getting everything just right and snippets and all this stuff. And I'm so glad that Tim has taken over a lot of that busy work. So I'm absolutely grateful for that, Tim. That's super appreciated.
Well, you are welcome.
Yeah. All right, I've got a question. I've got a whole slew of questions. I got some from me and some from our fans. And feel free, everyone here, to jump in with your own questions. And if you're with us live on Twitch, you can certainly put your questions in there. And Alistair's going to keep an eye out for those, if you don't mind. So my question, tagging along to the end of what Alistair just said, how has the show, the Inglorious Bards show, changed from season 1, episode 1 to last week's season? Has it changed at all? Are we consistent? Are we solid that way? Has there been? I know there's different players, but how has it changed? Anything at all?
Well, I can certainly say, if I don't mind jumping in here, that from season 1, it was a matter of getting an order, having a process of not just developing story, but interacting. We were at a table season 1, which means there's no lag, folks. You're bouncing off people, even the little quirps, little sound effects that someone might make, a little laugh here that might go unnoticed, absolutely, would just be jumped on. So that'd just be lightning quick responses. And you'd get that. And that followed through with season 2. Then, of course, season 3, pre-COVID and then post-COVID, that little transfer. There was that absolute relearning what we're doing here.
The online
and
environment.
Taking all that table fun stuff and bringing it over. And I think doing a fairly damn good job at preserving those little quirps. We just have to do it in serial, or we know we can only speak really one at a time kind of thing, but bringing that humor over didn't get deadened by the technology of the day. So those were some big things. They were huge concerning hurdles, and I think we surmounted them and brought it to this, which is extraordinarily entertaining and functional. I don't want to be dry on the technical level, but that's what it was. That was a big thing. So bravo everyone on that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
You left out the mark button where we had to take some stuff out.
Yeah.
We nicknamed that the Tim button.
The
I know.
We should have nicknamed it the Jix button this season.
Oh, yeah, it could have been one of any characters. I think.
That's a whole other podcast by itself. We just call it the mark button and just cuts of everything that we've.
Yeah, it was definitely a big adjustment going from, a show where we had editing capabilities to going live, where, we're all prone to off-color jokes, and we mean them in the, most benign way, but some would not always be received greatly. So we have sometimes edited out extreme, vulgar, terrible humor. And we've all had to kind of be a little more cognizant of that, being in a live show. Tim.
Grabbing onto the end of that question, Frank asks also, how has your personal game style changed throughout this season or throughout multiple seasons if you've been through more than one? How has your process in approaching the game or role-playing at all changed? How have you grown maybe, or I don't know?
Well, I'll start on that one. So playing Xander is new to me, right? This is my first season with the Inglorious Bards, but even
And last.
and last apparently. Oh. Farewell to Jeremy episode 110.
That's what this has really been
Sign
about.
off.
All right, the facade is over.
Xander is a spellcaster, which was new to me, but B, the idea of creating a character that has a built-in connection to someone in the party rather than just trying to randomly assuming we're a group of guys and we're going to adventure together, right? Actually, like building the connections and really setting up from the beginning was different for me at the start, because it really set up the idea that there's going to be a longer tail. So we have a backstory, we have a little bit of a connection that we start with. But what it's really organically turned into is just this level of understanding when it's Xander's time to talk and when it's not. Like really being able to live in and out of scenes. And so sometimes you're in the wings and sometimes you're on stage, and it goes back and forth. And it's a weird metaphor putting it into theater, but that really feels a lot like that. And we got into a rhythm, and I certainly felt into the rhythm when we started this, of knowing that it's not, every conversation is not a huddle. It's not every single player all waiting to say their turn and all having their thing. It really is these two characters. It's Jix and Iggy fighting it out because they have that backstory coming in. Or it's Killian keeping everybody safe and bringing everyone up. Or it's Palik sweeping in and saving the day, and then Xander freaking out in the background because, oh my god, it's her. And it's so many different levels of scenes that it's been really fun, and that's been a big part of understanding how I play as a character now, and even how I think about DMing and running other games, of having individual scenes that show up and just organically happen.
Yeah, I think for me, this is my first real role-playing experience. I've said that before, but having two characters now under my belt, I think with Idrisil, that was a good experience for me. But I think I really learned patience with him. There was a few times where I was a little probably irritable to play with. I can admit that, looking back early in the season and stuff. But for sure, playing this game has taught me to just let go and be in the moment and completely just, don't take anything personally. We joke about kill stealing all the time. That's a big popular trope, nowadays, but it's always fun, I think, in the moment when somebody does it. It may be frustrating a little bit, but I don't think I can think of one instance where we were mad that somebody and it killed the villain. I've always said, as long as we get there, the journey, part of it's the journey.
I think that's one of the great things you mentioned, Alistair, is also everyone, it's a huge benefit when I see new game masters asking for hints or tips or things. And it's like, boy, I don't have that problem because I have you guys that are constantly supporting the story and the different elements, making your own ideas, your own things, or seeing where the scene might want to go and helping Jix get there or whatever it is. Or even when things don't go as planned, but knowing that that's still interesting. Like when, and spoilers for anyone who hasn't listened to these seasons, there's going to be a lot of spoilers going on. So when Jix died, there was no glory to that. There was nothing. And instead of Tim being pissed off, that serves, like, to me, this world can be crazy dangerous at the drop of a hat. You don't know. I don't know. Anyways, it's a compliment to you guys is what I'm trying to say.
For sure. If I can, I'll throw in one of the fan questions here. This is from Can or Con Monk.
Wait. Before you do, I have more to add.
Yeah, more to add over here.
Go ahead.
You opened a can of worms already. We gotta.
I'll go first real quick. Alistair, it's been really cool actually seeing your progression as a first time ever role player from the, going through, we've had more than 56 episodes because there were some other starter things. So kind of seeing where you were at the beginning to how well you've developed into just, what I would consider to be a seasoned role player now, and how well you play off those things is just absolutely awesome. So kudos to you, man.
I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, you look at like the first 5 or 10 episodes, and like Edersil would say, "Okay, I'll grab the guy. I'm going to interrogate him. He'll tell me what I want to know, and then we'll head in that direction." I'm like, "Wait, what? Wait, hold on. Do I get any say?"
I remember specifically. I was like, "I'll punch him in the face." You were like, "But you don't have unarmed combat." I was like, I'm just going to punch him in the face. This.
Whereas now I can just throw like a shimmering image of a catfolk guy approaching, and you move right into that scene, and you're there, and you're hitting the beats, and you're adding to it instantly. And yeah, that's not normal for a lot of other role players out there. They can be, what about me? And I want to do, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate that.
If I could throw in one other element, which I think grew from season 1, new people joining, through season 2, new people joining season 3, was not only did you become better role players, you started interacting and making these elements of the story come to life, but it was really neat seeing kind of like, if I could use the phrase, emotional trust, where you could open up beyond and push your character outside of the goofy zone, which is great and crazy fun. But, when you're just at those moments like, no, this is a very serious moment for my guy, and I'm going to bring in Seth, and I'm going to bring in Jeremy on this, and let's really, push a cool storyline. You guys do that so well now. And, before there's always an awkwardness, there's always a rigidity, but it just opened up. And it just happened. It makes the story so much better. So kudos to all of
let me shine that mirror back on you. You don't have to say you guys. I think the royal we in that is because you and Jeremy going back and forth as Sir Kendall and Brenrose is some of the greatest role playing I have ever seen. It was fantastic to watch. So don't sell yourself short.
Thank you.
Now, if I may, we have a fan question.
Yes, fan question.
This is from Con Monk or Can Monk. Good to see a fellow monk in the house. Most irritating NPC character you've come across from any season?
Oh,
okay. Character. Let me finish the question. Character. They voted for Jorn from season 1. I see a lot of other.
Jorn was innocent. Jorn was pushed. Jorn was pushed to the extremes.
Whoa!
Tormented.
Jordan is actually one of my favorite NPCs. That was so much fun. As Puck just torturing that guy.
Wait, so the question was
the most irritating NPC character you've come across in our season so far?
Oh, Sir Kendall, hands down.
Yeah.
Love to hate him.
He was
great,
he was
though.
a bastard.
He's the only
he's great.
NPC
I mean, like I loved every scene he was in.
Me as the game master, by the way.
No, there's this one pirate captain who just wouldn't shut up. Weird face, horrible nose, mad eyes. It was something weird. I don't remember.
I really dug. I was steamed when it happened, but I really dug the building what felt like at the time unnecessary rivalry between Yaru and Captain Maddox. like Halik was on board. Piercy was just killing everyone that he could find, specifically kids, if he was on a boat. But like Yaru, like had it out for Mad Eyes. Like if there's ever any type of conflict, he was usually right in his face. Is like, "We're here for the king." It's like, "You're on me ship," and it was just this back and forth that was there. Like so when it went down to the final, like like the full on mutiny, and Yaru was right there again to take that final blow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those where the role play came easy because we built so much getting up into it.
How easy is it for you, Tom, when a character like Jesto the Jester comes around?
Oh my God, I love
Jesto. He's one of my favorites. Do you guys remember how Jesto came about?
He was at the inn in Mirskat. No,
that was his first appearance. It came about because someone. It was just dinner time, and someone said some line, and I said, "Yeah, it's like a Jesto the Jester," and I did a silly voice, and I'm like, "Oh, that guy's annoyingly interesting." And then, like 5 episodes later, I got him in, and I think he showed up 3 times, maybe in the campaign. Yeah.
He made 2 appearances inside Tabernary, and then we saw him in Mirskan when he had been moved on and not as floppy at that point. He was a little run down.
Was Zaner drunk in each of those instances, Jeremy?
I don't think so. The
We
first
haven't
time
really seen a drunk Zaner since then.
he was genuinely happy with Jesto. Like that's Xander's sense of humor. That's right on point.
And I get the feeling he hasn't been happy since.
It's just
Tim, we've been dying to talk.
My most annoying character, to take it back to season 2, was I can't even remember his name. I've been trying to think of his name for 2 days.
The captain?
I always remembered. What's that?
Was it the captain you're talking about?
Yes, Captain something.
Valencia.
Reminds me of oranges.
Valencia.
Onions, not oranges. Yes. Captain Valencia was by far my. Yeah,
you and him got along well, if I remember.
Oh, yeah. Booze and buds.
Yeah, we've never had a character fired from the campaign before.
No. In fact, that was my most. I think I have a question. If I'll ask this question now.
This is a retcon. Going way back now.
What is your most uncomfortable role playing moment? Mine would be when Ipo basically got court-martialed by Captain Valencia.
God. That was uncomfortable.
That was.
I did not know if that was Ipo and Captain Valencia or Tom and Tim. I wasn't sure.
Oh man, call him B.
Man,
yeah, I mentioned it in the, I think, an after show equivalent or something where it was, that felt totally like I was the night manager at a Pizza Hut and having to reprimand a high school, employee type of a situation. It was super uncomfortable.
on that
Really
same
uncomfortable.
on that same thread, early on in the days of when 15 silver was a big deal to us. I remember Seth and I had a bout that lasted a little too long, and I remember you guys saying something on the after show, like about the feeling in the air, and I was just like, I'm sorry, I feel really awkward about that. So post apology again for that one, Seth. But even since then, another one comes to mind. An in character moment that made me feel really uncomfortable. We mentioned it earlier, Tom, is when that general came in to Brackenhill Keep on Jix and Iggy, and Idrisil was in that tower.
Right.
And when I surrendered my bow, I regret that so much. That's one of my biggest regrets in the whole show. It's like I should have just taken him out or tried to,
That episode has a lot of regrets.
It really does. But, beautiful ending and stuff. But
What about the opposite side of that question? What's your favorite NPC of this season or any season?
Oh,
Phineas, for me, I think. Phineas is really fun.
Phineas Tumblepot?
Yeah, Phineas
Nice.
Tumblepot for sure is really fun. The way Tom weaves in these characters, love them or hate them, to bring them back, and we'll go to their house and see a sign that says, gone on a trip, and oh crap, well that throws off everything we wanted from that guy, and then we see him 3 months later in the snow with a giant metal crab. As you do.
I really did.
What more as a player can you ask than that,
I really did love that little shithead Jordan, though. Every episode, I was like, oh man. Just, that was fun. Just picking him apart by pieces.
Me, it was either the alchemist storekeeper that Avius kept trying to haggle with for some magical bracers. He was a lot of fun. Or Mr. Hazelton of the Inverted Pyramids. Wizardry group.com.
He was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'll back that up. Callian Varro has absolutely been my favorite NPC. Now, there's a lot of really good ones, and I'm even thinking of like the villain characters and some that I could really like dive into. But as NPCs that come in and come out, the established relationship that Xander has with Callian Varro, from the straight up like, you're dead now, and he just gets killed, into the like, I'm gonna listen a little more to what you're saying, and then this kind of support and even respect that's happened so far near the end. It's been kind of amazing. But when she shows up, like, it's always really exciting. I'm always really stoked about what's
I
gonna
just
happen.
listened to when she appeared at the Foamy Trumpet in Mirskan, and like Iggy says hi, Sildren says hi, then Xander says hi. And it's like, hello, it's good to see you, and welcome, Kellyanne. We know that there's some, and then Xander, and he just like runs away. That's all. That was his diplomatic role.
Jix's parents too,
Oh god!
because that was such like a twist that they were great.
Does that count as the uncomfortable moment as
That
well?
was uncomfortable
That is-
having to deliver that
my most
news.
uncomfortable.
Oh,
That was so harsh. And Tom, like, all that credit goes to you. Like, you literally committed to that. We couldn't completely hand wave it. You couldn't just be like, and we sent a messenger and it's taken care of. But like the amount of emotional depth and connection and full on, like, you had to take a minute and recover.
oh yeah.
Like, there was so much that was put into that, and we all felt it. Like, it shared really hard.
That's cool. It just needed to be like, and it just felt like it. Yeah, it would have been cheap if we didn't do anything like that. And we all knew it like 2 episodes early or something. I think Seth's like, oh, we got to go tell his mom. And we're like, oh no, forget about him leaving the party. We got to go tell his mom.
Oh god! Oh god!
It's going to hurt. Let's see. I've got one from Sammy. Sammy asks of you guys, the players, what's your creative process like, particularly when creating your characters or anything at all involving the story? Is there any element of collaboration between you? Do you create together? Is there something separate where you work on surprises? Anything about your creative process?
There's a lot of surprise, because we enjoy surprising each other with our characters. So there's a little sometimes, I would say at the beginning of maybe a new season, a new storyline, a new campaign, we do a little bit of collaboration to get our backgrounds synced up so that we have a reason to all be in the pub at the same time. But for me, I really enjoy the surprises when a new character is being created. And as far as the process,
If I can come in with you, Tim, it's pretty much like we do it. Now we do it on Hero Forge with Tom, but we always do a session with Tom, and we're kind of surprised ourselves in building the character because Tom basically tells us these are the available classes based on who's already in the party, what's available in the system and whatnot. and then we just kind of build from level 1 up. If you listen to our level episodes, it's a really fun process.
I think as far as like trying to figure out like the personality or the name, like what race and class do I want to be, all that stuff. It's just, I'm just always looking for something unique, like what has not been done before that I think I could pull off. That has a lot to do with it as well. Like, can I pull off this type of person, this type of character, a voice that might go along with that character? If I don't think I can do it, then I don't choose it. But that's just me.
So I have a really hard time with doing different voices, and that's why like Elmon was sort of just gravelly, and then for Devin in season 2, I worked on that for a long time, and as much ribbing as I got for his accent.
Oh no, I loved it.
I loved it. And then Killian, I worked on for a long time, and then when Killian died, and then coming in Sildren, I only had like a week to prepare, and that's why Sildren carries my voice, because like it takes me a long time to get comfortable developing into a accent and voice. I already have something kind of planned out for next season, so been thinking about that. But yeah, so I have to work on the voice for a long time, because that is not my forte.
What does anybody know what they want to be as their next character? Like what class, what kind of role do you want to play?
That's already
in
planned
the
out.
party.
Oh, this is news to me. Holy cow.
Yeah, I know what I want.
I've got a panic button character ready to go.
I want to ask Chris. Devin Page was a departure from your usual type of like rogue or archer, or you play those characters and you do them well. And with Devin Page, that was not. He was a kind of a mystical, magical guy.
Yeah.
And he was funny. What was that like?
It was fun. And definitely. So towards like when with Elmon, especially in the first handful of episodes, Tom and I kind of talked a bit about where he was, because it seemed like his moral compass was a little bit shifted compared to some of the other crew. So, Tom was like, why don't you just bring that around just a little bit for us?
Because we don't want to get a situation where he has to leave the group prematurely. Like, we don't
gets
want
fired
that.
by somebody. Yeah. So, although I will still defend him killing the old kobold to my dying day, because that was the right thing to do. But anyways,
you're talking about the old kobold in that small little cave next to the chest that no one should be remembering in any way whatsoever. Okay.
Yeah, but I got such shit for that of like me killing him. But anyways, so I wanted to do something vastly different from that darker character that Elmon was. So that's, so I wanted to do something lighter, something a little less like serious. So that's where, and then the accent was just perfect for it. It was just, kind of light and a little goofy. So it just worked out well.
Cool.
Less murdery. Yes.
Someone asked, Sammy asks, what's your favorite voice that anyone in the group does? Just a voice.
All right, go ahead.
I was going to say I have a new respect for the Yosoki time. After last week. It was very difficult to do. If you don't make the accent and it's something that's not, that's something so off base like that, only Tim could come up with, mimicking that takes, as Chris was saying, a lot more than a week or a day, to perfect, as it were. But Seth, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying you, Alistair, have been great with your voices. Jeremy as well. Jeremy and Zaner, And Alistair, you as Yaru and
Idrisil?
Idrisil, geez, have been great. Because I am not. I have three speeds when it comes to voices, and you've seen all of them.
That's funny because
I got to
Hawk is
revisit on
probably
this
my
thing.
favorite voice.
Well, this is very interesting in Seth's beginnings. This is pre-episode 1 practically, and I think he was asked briefly. He had fleshed out his character, got the character he was going for, and asked to produce at the table in front of a new bunch of guys to produce this voice. And Seth's a big guy. You look at him and you're just like, you're going to get knocked down by this guy. And you came out with this squeaky, feminine kind of thing for your first voice.
Or Puck the Goblin.
And we all laughed our asses off. And then it just became something we couldn't live without. We had to have Puck the Goblin as this voice, or else it didn't work. And I was like, that's huge credit. You went with it, you stuck with it, and it became canon. I can't envision Puck without it. So
We did receive negative feedback though about that voice. Someone said, "I really don't like when that Seth guy changes his voice. It just gets on my nerves." And I was like, "Well, it fits the Goblin. It's like no. When you're done with the show and he does that fake deep voice," and I'm like, "No, that's his real voice." He thought Huck was as close to your real voice, and you were just being silly with that sexy deep voice. The one voice that, and I love all your voices. I think everyone does a great job. And even those of you that say voices aren't your strong suit, you guys put the effort and time in. I hear you guys practicing it in the car, looking like an idiot at the stoplights.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot of us here are not voice actors, and people put the effort in. But there is one that just catches me with a grin constantly in this season, and that is Tim as his Yosoki, Piercy. Just the voice, or even just taking one word and just the twist on it, I'll just start smiling like an idiot. Oh, it's very delightful. Very delightful.
It's fun. I've learned it's not so much always about the accent as it is just about like the inflection and how you change up words or use different ones. It's been fun.
That's why I'm excited to. I love playing Yaru, but I'm excited to do new characters as well, maybe in new seasons or what have you. But I've got my head is full of different characters, so I've got 3 at least that I could do right now that I'm just ready to release upon you.
Yeah, I want to see level 21. I'm not in any hurry to change over.
No, I want to see Yaru to the end of this, but come what may, and or future seasons willing.
We have everyone here from season 3. We also just in our Twitch chat got everyone from season 2. Jillian has joined us in the Twitch chat. Jillian played Catherine. Great to see Jillian here. I remember when we did, we were running auditions, actually online auditions for season 2 to get someone involved. And when we heard Jillian for this, it was like, okay, we got to get her. She's the one. But and I didn't really think about it much at the time, but when you've got like 5 guys who've been role playing together for 37 episodes that have an audience and a fan base that really love them, and they're inviting you into the group, and they're going to start recording you, and you got to be funny. I mean, that's a lot to ask. And she did not raise up to that bar. Jillian went past that bar and dove right in. I remember a couple times where her character, Catherine, would say something silly idea. Someone else would say silly idea, someone else. And then Jillian/Catherine would refocus the group. All right, let's stay on target here, guys. We've got to be able to do this. Let's go. Or would propel the story forward. And boy, you can feel that lacking in season 3 sometimes. You guys are everywhere. Yeah, so hats off to Jillian. And so I have a quick question for Jillian. I know it's been almost 2 years since you played with us. Jillian, if you can type in the chat, do you have, what's the one takeaway or one memory or thought about the Inglorious Bards you have there?
Need some Jeopardy music while she types.
I know.
I was going to say,
while we're waiting for her, though, it was funny when she came in like the first time, like because when we met in person, we used to have dinner ahead of time and just like talking bullshit, And she came in there and had like questions for all of us, and
that's right.
And like us hearing, like I found out stuff about all of you that I'm like, really?
Yeah, we'd been playing together before the podcast for like 2 years too.
Yeah, she asked these basic questions about the humanity of one another that guys don't talk about, and we're like, oh, I never asked Seth about his family or friends. Like that. Yeah, that was awesome.
It was funny. I seem to remember she said something to the effect like, "Do you guys actually even know each other?" Like,
yeah.
Yeah, Seth had a boot on his foot for like a year. I think it came up maybe 3 times. Things like that.
Yep. Jillian says, I love the constant creativity, the crazy ideas, always, blew me away. Love the really cool worlds we got to explore across different planets. There's one world, I've never released the episode because I never got to it. It was the 4th non-released episode that before we restarted. And that 4th one, the world's one of my favorites. If you guys remember, it was a world of just crystalline forest type stuff.
Yeah,
that visual, so cool. So need to steal that.
I want to go back.
Didn't we crash a ship on that?
Oh yeah, just slid right into this mountain of. Oh, yeah.
That's not even a lost episode that we can go back to, is it?
It's a lost episode that has not been released. And she also says, I also loved when people would wait excitedly for my verbal insults, which were that mostly good. She would taunt people. Yeah, I remember that.
That was her that was her bon mot of the future.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she did a way better job than Piercy does.
Yeah, there was definitely some psychic scarring from some of the things that she was able to.
And she got downright nasty with some of these people.
What questions do some of the other Tim's asked some, I've asked a bunch. What questions do you guys have here?
I have one for you guys. With your current character, what is your favorite skill or feat? And if you can, give an example of your character using it. I'll start with Yaru and the Abundant Step teleportation feat. When Rainith appears to Sildren for like the 2nd or 3rd time. For Yaru, this is the first time seeing this dark creature, he called him. We were trapped in that weird material cell that he created for us with that black ink squid coming down, and it was pressing tighter and tighter on us. So Yaru had to teleport up and escape the clutches of Rainith to save everybody in that moment. It was pretty cool. It was my first use of that spell. And but what about you guys? What's your favorite skill or feat that you have used?
Xander, after you.
Hey. Wait, is that yours, Tim? That is Tim's. Tim's is after you. All right.
Yeah. God, Xander's got some good ones. He has some really fun ones that are ways to play. I think the one that he doesn't do it very much. Hasn't been a lot of call for it, but the transform spell into bug, the bug spell, has absolutely been a great one to play and turned into like a really fantastic story element. But it was also crazy effective. Getting up and down and solving some situations. Like the idea that Xander has different spells that are not all attack and very few defend actually, but he can start like utilizing a few of them has been a really fun trick. So I think that's the one I love the most right now is the insect form.
A third of our party can turn into dragons. You guys are burying the lead here.
Right, true. It's kind of amazing.
Right.
So it's only been successful once, but the baleful polymorph was awesome, turning one of the witch type creatures into a rabbit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then countless eyes. Again, it's only been used once for Master Yaru, I believe.
It was such a unique spell. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
I do not like Sildren's little pustulous sores because that's just really wrong. Oh.
Yeah, and if that hits hard, like that, I can heighten it too, so maybe I need to start doing
And it's
that.
not just this big sore on you that's doing damage, but it's bursting onto your
Yeah.
allies. Oh.
Well, that's a friend or foe thing.
Yeah.
You have to watch
It's a cone.
So he can kind of angle it where it
You're in
goes.
the
Yeah.
splash zone.
that doesn't
Any other
make it any
feats or,
better.
or abilities you guys like with your characters?
He was terrible at it, but Ignal doing his intimidation where he raised his eyebrow. I love doing that so much, but I think out of like the 20 times I attempted it, it worked. Like,
Dude, he's probably crushing it now with that thing.
It's more of a pickup line in a bar.
yeah.
What about you, Christopher?
Oh, let's see. And this one's kind of unfair. Heal. And heal has so much more than what it actually has been so far. I mean, to heal once on a big scale and pull someone from the brink or pull everyone back from, quite a bit. Those are neat and exceptional, but I'm waiting for that big, huge, dumb fight with undead where I do heal group and then all the undead in the way just getting smacked aside and all that kind of
Oh.
stuff. So it hasn't reached its potential yet, but I still have my hope. But-
Oh man, retributive strike though with the shield of Solene.
Oh,
That was
Yeah, that was
juicy.
awesome.
I
Yeah,
love that one.
that's a good one. I think Retributive Strike is one of my favorites. My other one, not very sexy, but really annoying to me as the villains, was Iggy's ability to follow them as they moved away.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It would just be like, okay, they need to retreat. This dude right in their face is too much. It's like, nope, I'm right with them. It's like, son of a bitch. Yeah, that's cool. I'll ask another question. I have a question. What is a scene that you had, a favorite scene, any season that you wish you were a part of? Scene you were not part of that you wish you were?
Man.
Stump the group.
There was a scene in season 2 where Catherine was being interrogated by the bug creatures, I believe.
Man, I forgot
It's one of
about
my
that.
favorite scenes. I'm glad that Jillian's in the chat. It was such a fantastic role-playing scene to listen to. I listened to all of season 2 in my prep as joining the podcast, and that scene stuck out to me as one of the great moments before the horrible, horrible ending.
I did not expect that scene to go that way at all. And then Catherine really started going up against the guy and like mocking
Yeah.
or whatever it was, just really fighting against. And I'm like, she's not seen season 1 then, because bad things are about to happen to her in this torture moment. But then I think she did like this incredible diplomacy or something out of nowhere. And it just, it was so interesting.
Yeah, both the torture scene in season 1. Puck, man, just playing as Puck, watching, having to hear Olgrim go through the torture was awful. And the same with Kolsch in season 2, having to watch guy like he was loyal as hell to both those people. It was awful.
What do you think Kolsch is doing on that new planet right now?
Oh, Kolsch and Catherine have like definitely
teamed up.
pirated. Oh yeah. They're back to their old ways. They pirated a ship and they are just cruising around raising hell.
Wait a minute, I don't
For
recall
sure.
anything ending well for Catherine and Coles.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
He doesn't know. So, Christopher, watch. It's a show called The Inglorious Bards. Listen to season 3, episode 9.
9.
Okay, season 3, episode 9.
Listen to that one.
There's a capper to that story.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
it.
Maybe, hopefully, it's not finished.
I'm bringing it
too.
up now. I'm listening live, folks.
I saw in chat, Can Monk asked what Catherine, if there's ever a chance for a one-off episode, which would be hella fun.
It's interesting.
But yeah, no, they're up to their old ways. They're pirating shit and thieving, light murder probably on Kolsch's part.
Yeah, not that I wish I could be a part of it necessarily, but my favorite episode, I think, has been that episode, and the scene was Xander just going from world to world to world, and then fine tuning that back into and on Solor, or the town or base of Solor, where Xander and Kolsch interact. That was beautiful.
That was great. And then the whole Killian, like it's all about Xander, Ken Xander, and then no, Xander's not. Oh my God, we're losing Xander. And then no, it's Killian. Oh,
I would take that whole sequence. I would challenge any sci-fi writer to do something like that. It's of equal quality to any of the current shows that are out there right now. It's such good storytelling.
This week on House.
Just literally sitting there. I mean, does Xander have lupus?
it's not lupus.
It's not
Xander.
We did that test. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I was thinking about scenes that I wasn't a part of, and that's one of the first one that jumps out to me, because when Xander got lost in the chain gate, like I was out of the rest of the episode. Like we were a full 2 hours. So I just kind of listened and took notes because I didn't speak at all. And then the first half of the next episode was the same way. And so many different things happening, but it turned into something I was really involved with. The one that I was the most uncomfortable with, and I'm trying to remember the exact details of it, but I remember so clearly, Idrisil is trying to have a conversation, and this was during Xander's super diplomatic moments. And Xander was not in the room and couldn't have it, and so Idrisil is trying to get through and trying to get this conversation, and I as Xander am just dying on the inside because I have my speech written, I know what to say, I know what to roll for, and Idrisil is just failing forward and getting that information. I was like, this is so good, such good storytelling. It was killing me.
Yeah, I remember that scene really well.
It was a little bit of Idrisil trying to like brute force his way in, right?
Yes.
I wasn't the diplomatic one of the group, and I was, it was between Idrisil and Alistair having trouble figuring out how to, intimidate them without intimidating them, kind of, so to speak, without having to roll, I guess. Me trying to cheat the system a little bit, but it was just a bunch of erudites and aristocrats, and Idrisil, the ranger, comes in, and Tom was like, no, you're dirty, you smell, you're an elf, and these are just really nice people who don't want anything. And then I think it was still Killian at the time, then noticed one of the guys from the previous episode and was like, we got to get out of here. Xander, handle this. And I was just like, no, it's fine, I'll do it. You, I remember that really well. It was really fun.
All right, without further ado, I think now is a great time for our big questionable questions. Our huge quiz, everybody. Oh, we're seeing the players straighten up, get a little serious now. So we still have a ton of questions from, I still have a bunch. I'm sure some of the players do, and we have a bunch still from the fans, but let's get into our questionnaire. So this is going to be a big, epic 30-plus question questionnaire. This is going to be huge. How it works is I'll read aloud the question. You'll see it in there. It will appear in Twitch. So you need Twitch up and running. And what will happen is I'll read the question. Once the question is read aloud, you will have 15 seconds to answer the question. And as you do, you will have a point total, something like 15 or 10,000 points that will quickly spiral down to 0 as you get towards the end of the 15 seconds. The sooner you answer correctly, the more points you get. So if you take forever, you might just get 2 or 1,000 points. You know it instantly, you might get all 10,000 or whatever it is points. So that's great. The bad news is if you get it wrong, you lose that many points as well. So if you're not quite sure, you might wait to the end and guess. If you are cocky and go right from the start and miss, you could lose a bundle of points. And finally, if you don't guess at all, you will lose and gain 0 points. So there's a little bit of a strategy there. These questions are we'll start with season 1. And then it'll be easy questions going to harder. Then we'll go season 2, easy to hard, season 3, easy to hard. If you've not listened to or played in the case of the players in those seasons, screw you. Life's not fair. For the players, whichever top bard has the most points at the end. And this is a freaking marathon. We will be testing your knowledge. I think this is going to take us like 15, 20 minutes. This is huge. The top scoring bard will get 2 extra hero points at the start of the next adventure. And the top scoring fan live on Twitch right now will get a $25 gift card to Drive Through RPG website to get whatever your RPG needs are. So what I'm going to do, you got to be on Twitch right now live for this to happen.
I have a point of order I have to ask, Tom.
Yes.
So Sildren currently has 3 hero points because of a kind Twitcher from
Perfect.
before. So if I win, that means I'll have 5, right?
Yes.
Okay,
We'll go
perfect.
nuts.
All right.
Make it rain.
I'm on it. And I'm not going to help anybody else with that.
All right. So if you look in Twitch right now, it's sending you instructions. And what you want to do is on the right, if you hover your mouse over the right-hand side of the screen on Twitch, you should see a quiz kit icon appear. And it says you need to give it access so that your name appears, so I know who you are.
Do I need to reload or something?
I don't know.
It's there. So do we add it to our channel?
It says your viewers' names won't be shown by default, so encourage them to authorize the extension by pressing the QuizKit logo on the right side of the stream and clicking allow access, or is that old instructions? Manage access?
I have
Manage
no.
access.
I have no.
It looks
such
like
thing.
I've given access, I think.
Try,
Does that seem right?
manage access and then grant permissions. That will send your ID so I know who you are.
I am reloading.
Sammy says you have to click the see your name thing, is what Sammy says. Maybe there's a visible option. So take a look at some of those options. See if you guys see anything.
It says overlay 1. Set quiz
No,
kit.
that might be because you're a member, you're an editor of it. Any other options you guys see before we begin?
Access.
Quiz kit.
And then
Add to my channel.
No, I think it's manage
you're granting
access.
This
Manage access.
You're granting this developer access to your Twitch
Grant
user ID.
access.
Allow this extension to know your user ID on Twitch.
Can you tell who's done it, Tom?
I cannot.
Okay.
This is the challenge. So let's get it right. So make sure you go to manage access. You should then see allow this extension to know your user ID on Twitch, grant or cancel, and hit grant.
Okay, I did that.
All right. Player's good.
Grant.
Christopher's supposed to be good at computers. What's going on here?
I'm good at computers. I'm terrible at
Rich.
this. All right. I will just accept my fate. I've hit accept, but nothing.
All right.
Changed, so
Well, let's see what happens.
do I click add to channel?
What did you click manage?
I
Manage.
did manage access, and then it said grant. I did that.
Then you're good. You're good.
Okay.
All right. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
See what
We'll
happens.
start with the first question. And again, you have 15 seconds to answer. I will read the question out loud to start to help speed things up. And here we go. In season 1, what was Avius Catorum's catchphrase?
What?
See, this all falls apart.
So where do we type this? Just in
You
the chat.
click
You click on the
click on
screen.
in Twitch. You
Yeah,
got to be
it's
watching
in
Twitch
Twitch.
live.
Twitch.
Okay, I am. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Ah. Got it.
Did
Damn
Tim
it,
just
I
miss
couldn't-
out on his question?
Life's not fair.
All right.
Could have had so many effing points.
Do you like movies about gladiators? That really should have been his catchphrase.
All right, and I've just revealed the answer. The answer is Tim.
Who's ready for adventure?
All right. And I'm going to show scores right now so we can see who's on there. Oh, we have contestant 15 and 16 and 14. That means people have not entered their name correctly. Uh-oh, this could be a challenge. We won't know who's which.
I'm contestant 14.
Are you?
I guess so. I
How do
can't
you
find
know?
a place to enter my name.
Yeah, I can't. How do I do that?
Is there a way you can tell? If we can tell, we're in business.
I know that was my score.
Oh, okay.
It told me the score that would happen
All right.
at my answer.
Well,
if
that
you happen to
makes me
recognize.
That makes me contestant 15 then.
All right. And then is anyone 16? Maybe Bat Sammy online. We'll see. Okay, so we think 15 is Christopher.
Bat Sammy's in there.
Oh, Bat
Yeah,
Sammy's
number
there. All right, we
3.
just don't know who 16 is. All right, so keep in mind what your scores are. We'll see if we can figure it out. Next question. This is season 1 still. In season 1, what artifact took control over the heroes' minds? Just waiting for the
It lit
players
up
to
blue as
answer.
well.
What artifact took control over the heroes' minds? Still waiting for players. All right. Anyone want to tell the answer?
Well, the Gray Ascent.
Gray
That's the
Ascent.
ghost ding. Come on.
The staff
is
that goes sting is pretty.
Incorrect.
Oh. Someone actually put it down.
Yep.
I think Jillian did.
Let's take one last look at the scores, and then we'll do it every other one. Can Monk currently in the lead.
Oh.
What?
Jillian Wildfire rocking with a negative 11,000. It doesn't matter if you're negative as long as you're less negative than everybody else. All right, next question. Question 3. In season 1, the campaign took place in which city? What was the city name that the almost entirety of season 1 took place in? Yeah, this is a little interesting.
Had to think on that
Almost
one.
got me for a second there.
I don't know if I got it right.
I love it. I love it.
Pretty
And
sure
anyone-
I didn't.
Anyone listening as the podcast, just say it out loud on the bus. You won't look like a total idiot. All right, the answer is the city of Tolus, spelled with a P. P-T-O-L-U-S. Yeah. Yeah. I think I got some
Just
people.
lost 10,000
Tall-
points.
All right, next question. In season 1, which hero lost a foot? Someone lost a foot. Can only count to 15 now. Who is that?
It's definitely Kenny.
Super kidding. Oh my god!
The great involved hero named Kenny. All right, the answer, anyone?
Olgrim, Shieldbiter.
Yeah. Oh, everyone guessed 9? How the heck? Oh, we have some people not guessing because they weren't sure. I see. Smart play.
Everyone knows the foot.
All right, let's look at these scores real fast. Let's see how we're doing. We have Dukes the first, Seth at top,
Yeah!
Christopher
Nice.
second, Tim third, Can Monk, who I don't recall being in our Twitch before, is the lead fan, Bat Sammy close behind. All right, next question. What was the name of the ship used to explore Katoram Island?
Oh my gosh.
These are gonna get harder.
Wow, that's a good one.
Oh no, I think I'm. Damn it.
The
I got
Lumber,
it, I got it.
This
the
one.
Duke's Castle, the Crooked Nose, or the Nettle? Which ship was the name of the ship used to explore?
Come on, baby. Can I phone a friend?
You cannot phone a friend. All right, correct answer is the Nettle.
Yeah!
Nettles correct. The Duke's Castle was the first ship you ever went into.
Yeah.
That was
That's
the
right.
very
Ship.
beginning, episode 1.
Cultists.
All right. Next question. Well, this is an easy one. With whom did Puck have a grudge with? Who could that possibly be? Is it Tass, Jorn, Burns, or Otto? All of these are actual names from season 1, I believe.
Pretty sure he had a grudge with all of them.
I think.
Where's E?
Yeah,
All of the above.
choice.
All right, and there we go. Come on. All right, Seth. The answer is
Jorn, little
Jorn.
bastard.
We got 9
Jorn.
people with the correct answer there. We have a couple more with season 1. Then we're going to move on to season 2. All right, next question. Season 1, before the evil forces of Morian would arrive, how many times would the bell toll? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Wow, nice.
I'm hurting some brain cells. I see Chris struggling.
Because I wasn't 100% sure, but I answered it really fast, so I'm thinking maybe I should have waited.
He's committing to.
Is anyone confident in their answer?
No.
Not even
I'm 10,000 points confident.
I'm pretty sure it was 2, but I said 3.
All right. What? All right, the correct answer is 4.
Yeah.
4.
Chris, they were both wrong. Good job.
So many people went 3. That is a ton of points gone. Lovely. Let's look at the scores
And
real fast.
those were bells tolling for Elmon most of the time.
Top scores, contestant 14. Who did we say 14 was?
That's this guy right here.
Oh,
That's
you son of a
Jeremy.
bitch.
Yeah,
Jeremy,
man.
then Can Monk, then Seth, then Christopher. Bat Sammy is the second best fan right now. All right, next question. When in season 1, while the heroes were exploring the sewers, what caused the huge explosion in the northern part of the city? Morian unleashed his final spell, a chaotic potion thrown by Puck, Xander's magic, Ulgrim crashing an airship.
Oh,
Shit. I put the wrong one.
Oh no!
I did too.
I did too.
Good, but
Anyone super confident then what the answer is?
There's more
Yeah.
than unleashing his final spell.
spell.
All right.
Yeah.
The correct answer
Just wanted to use
is Xander's magic is the correct answer.
Oh my
There was a
gosh!
huge
Oh, that's right.
explosion
Yes!
in
Episode
that, and that was in season 3, a connection between.
Tricky.
Last question for season 1. Here we go. In season 1, who was Elmon's love interest? Ascala, Amariel, Lady Gentleman Cath, Glennerin Skycaller.
These are getting not very nice.
I think Chris should get this one, damn it.
I did.
Oh, Chris,
He
I'm going to
still
ask
has-
Chris if you don't get this right.
He still has fun.
All right. Fond memories of it.
Top number, but I full on
All right,
skipped it.
Chris, what is the answer for who was Elmon's love interest?
Oh God, I like now I'm actually doubting. It was Glennerin Skycaller.
Glennerin Skycaller, correct. Do you remember what her location was, where she lived in the city? What that was called? It had an interesting name.
Oh, it was. I remember the garden. Something. No, I don't.
Aridithil's home.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I remember Elmon almost. He was ready to kill Avius at one point in time.
That's how you play Final Jeopardy, you guys. You just big old goose egg on the last one and just assume everyone's going to follow behind.
All right. Number 1 so far at the end of season 1 is Jeremy. Jeremy, I didn't think you listened to season 1. How are you getting these?
I know how your brain works.
Okay. Number 2 is Bat Sammy. Sammy has come out of nowhere and risen to the
Wow.
top. Hang
He
on
is
there, Ken.
right behind you.
How's
Got
that
all
number
the
2
notes.
feeling? You smell the farts?
All right, we're moving on to season 2 now. We're going to start out easy and get a little bit harder. In season 2, the heroes belong to which law enforcement organization? The Prophets, the Fallen Stars, the Rangers, the Nova Alliance.
No, undo. Oh God. Well, I.
Haha.
Oh, first place. This might be going down. Season 2, the heroes belong to which law enforcement organization? All right, Tim, what did you put as the answer?
The Prophets.
Prophets is
Prophets.
correct.
Not the Rangers. You sure?
Not the
Perhaps
Rangers.
the Rangers.
Was that you, Jeremy? The
I
one
totally clicked
person
the
who didn't
Rangers.
know
I was
that?
like, no Prophet. Oh God.
All right.
That mouse is not where I thought it was.
All right, next question. In season 2, in the opening chase, what did the heroes crash? Their starship, Timmy McDonald's birthday party, a police cruiser, or a corporate computer?
Oddly enough, it's a little bit of everything.
Should have clicked. I meant to click it like 3,000 points earlier.
All right, let's see. Alistair, what is the correct answer for the opening chase?
Is there Starship? I really don't know.
That was
Is
Timmy's
incorrect.
birthday.
Timmy
went-
McDonald's birthday party was crashed.
Oh, the-
we
no,
stole,
yes, on that
some
one.
cake.
Yes, we did.
Not we. Catherine.
Oh, wait. Athens cake.
All right. Next question. In season 2, in the opening, no, we just did that one. Sorry. In season 2, when boarding a pirate vessel, what cover name did the heroes use for their ship? The party barge, a research vessel, a mining vessel, the Rangers.
Had another name attached to it. Was it?
No, it didn't.
It didn't.
Nope. Well, there was a name in front of it.
I mean, it
Yeah,
had
I
an
thought it
official
was-
name, but
It had an
Alright.
official name, I thought.
Seth, what is the correct answer?
Oh, the Kellen's party barge.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it was.
Kellen's Party Barge. I should have put Kellen in there, but Party Barge. There is the name of an actual wooden vessel called the Party Barge on Netflix's animated show Disenchanted. I wonder if they stole that from us at all.
I
sure.
didn't steal it from there.
No, because it's only like a
They
year and a
would've
half
stolen
old
it
or
from
a year
us.
old. Yeah. All right. Oh, let's look at the scores real fast. Let's see where we're at. Sammy is in the lead.
Killing it.
Then
The mighty
Christopher,
have farly fallen.
Tim, then Chris, Seth, Can Monk, Jeremy, and whoever contestant number 2 is. I don't know if we know who contestant number 2 is. All right. Moving on. Next question. In season 2, getting a little bit harder. In season 2, who had no soul? Was it Ripclaws, Strigan, Albus 47P, or Creve?
Try to answer these as fast as you can with a trimmer. Sucks.
You get a golf handicap? All right. And season 2, who had no soul? Tim, care to reveal the answer for us?
I'm Albus 47P and I'm a prophet.
And he has no soul. A whole bunch of people got that one. Yeah, Elvis 7P had no soul.
Or
One of my
testicles.
favorite lines. I think it was like, I have no soul. It was just like
reveal
this
of that
flat.
voice was so damn
Oh, that was so
funny.
good.
Oh, it was great. We should
All right.
find them all.
In season 2, what is every child's favorite friend? Is it Augie? Is it Jim Jim the Magic Blob? Is it Spaceship Battles? Is it the Ripclaws? It's gonna get a little challenging. By the way, we're only halfway done. I know this is way longer than it really should be.
It's fun.
Totally fun.
All right. I figured if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. In season 2, what is every child's favorite friend? And the answer is Jim Jim the Everyone got this one right. Jim Jim the Magic Blob.
It sounds like a children's friend.
Oh
Yeah,
my
you gotta
god!
throw
And
in
when
some
Tim,
more
it wasn't
children
Tim
friendly.
the voice of it, and like it was real gravelly, like he'd been smoking for 20 years.
Yeah. I think this and Jim Jim came from the news broadcast that would come through, which
yeah.
I think is a fantastic role-playing GM little trick. I want to
that was
somehow
awesome.
incorporate that.
I only did the voice of it because Augie messed with Albus's voice chip
Right.
and messed it up.
But didn't mess it up. We programmed you for that. You
Spin the dial.
Tomato.
it's all intentional in Augie's mind.
All right. In season 2, what is the name of the evil bad guy who ran Rowless Mining? Who is the evil bad guy? Season 2. Director Morian, Director Rutledge, Director Fields, Director Thompson. These are questions you probably don't know. Let's find out.
Oh, I know that one.
Oh, Chris sounds confident. Then, Chris, in 3 seconds, would you mind telling us who is the answer to the evil bad guy who ran Rowless Mining?
That was the indubitable dickhead Director Rutledge.
Director Rutledge is correct.
Was my second least favorite NPC.
And that damn
there was a
Rutledge.
great battle with him, just a verbal joust, I think twice. Once where he won, and then a second where you guys literally got him and he had to flee. Yeah. And his end was just a quick scramble. It's like, whoa, like the campaign has come to an abrupt end. There needs to be some sort of denouement to what's going on here. Let's look at the scores real fast, see where we're at.
I'm playing
Top place,
golf
Bat
this
Sammy.
season.
What's that?
As I'm playing golf this season. I'm just gonna go for the lowest score.
Oh, all right.
Apparently,
I
Christopher,
challenge
wow,
you
Christopher.
to that.
You were in
Jeremy.
first place until you started talking shit, Jeremy.
We
David
have
so
someone
well,
new on
talking
my
shit,
board.
get
In 8th place coming up, 6th place is Can Monk, 7th place is contestant 14, which I think is Jeremy, and 8th place Jillian has appeared. Let's move on. We have 2 more questions in season 2. In season 2, what was the name of the insect race on the world ship Ornua? What was the name of the insect race? The primals, the mantis, the octavores, the gris? Anyone feel confident about this one?
Yep.
Wow, Chris,
Oh, yeah.
I love your confidence. Your score doesn't necessarily reflect your confidence, but I love your confidence.
I got one wrong, and
That kills you.
Yeah,
All right, Chris, what was the name of the insect race?
it was the Gris.
The gris. Oh, that was easier than I thought. You guys are good. Well, let's see if this one's easy or not. Last question for season 2. Coming up, once the system lets me. Here we go. In season 2, what was the name of the hero's final ship? You had a couple different ships. What was the name of the final ship? The Echo, the Vesper, the Starline, the Clarity.
Oh crap! I did it again. I mean, it's perfect.
I might go to Chris on this one as well, as there was definitely a connection with Chris. Chris, if you feel confident, what's the answer?
Sure do. It's the Vesper.
The Vesper. What was the moment at your end? There was a decision right at the end your character had to make. I can't quite remember what it was.
It was, I think, where to land the Vesper.
And something with your shield. You had a choice. Can't remember. That's not important.
Yeah,
They were, like
because
fighting off all these Gris or
No,
whatever they
the
were.
bugs. The bugs.
yeah,
The bugs. They weren't Gris, but and it was either continue to fight them off or use your connection, your whatever connection you had with the neural
yeah,
system in the Vesper to call it down to come save us.
Yep. That was it.
That was a great solution. That's a great solution. I was going to say that would have been great to know yesterday. All right, we're now done with season 2. The score is Christopher at the top, 170K. Sammy right behind him. Chris right behind them, and Tim right behind the first 4 places, very tight. Seth's not too far back. Can Monk is there. And then we have contestant 14, which is Jeremy. And then we have Jillian, contestant 2, Alistair with 20,000. And then this random contestant number 18 with -9. Hang in there, number 18.
Welcome to the party. Thank you. I appreciate you.
I would love to know who you are. You don't have to if there's shame going on.
Thank you, contestant number 18. Random contestant number 18.
It's Alistair's mom trying to help out. All right, we are now officially moving into season 3. Let's keep it simple right off the bat. Season 3.
This is where I'm going to falter.
What is the name of the young sorceress who joined the ranks of the heroes? Is it the Blood Gypsy, Yelena, Cabal, or Sana?
Not quite 15,000 on that one. Close.
How you guys are getting the when the thing pops up on mine, it's already at 12,000.
Yeah,
so
me too.
I'm taking some hits.
I've
All
got
right,
some delays
contaminating
as
the
well.
answers.
I'm buffering all the time.
All right, what's the answer to who joined the ranks?
Young Yelena.
Yelena.
Yeah.
We got some folks with Sana and then Yelena.
Was
Sana,
it-
anyone know who Sana
Yeah,
is?
Sana was the frozen woman, right?
No.
No.
She was in that prophecy that the frozen, I think it was Callum Vero saved us from the ice, and
Nope.
then
No.
he gave us a little speech, right?
Maybe her job title might help you. High Priestess Sana?
Yes.
You're gone.
This should be the next question. Then.
Yeah. Question number 2 for season 3. Season 3, keeping it a little light. Where's the best place in Tavernry to enjoy a drink with friends and find a dangerous quest nailed to a wooden pillar?
Justo.
Is it the Seahorse Tavern, Peg's Tavern, Grand Legacy Theater, Fall Feathers Inn? All of those actual locations in Tavernry.
It's Sea Pony Tavern now.
Sea ponies.
All right, let's see. Alistair, you feel confident on this one?
I believe it's Peg's Tavern, Alex.
Go to the judges. Yes, it is Peg's Tavern.
Where is
Not phrase
Peg's
that
Tavern?
informally.
What is? Negative.
All right, that was 2 questions. Let's take a quick look at our score, see where we're at. Sammy's retaking the lead. Chris right after. Christopher's fallen to 4th place. Wildfire. Yeah.
Oh, that's me,
7th.
Arif Pugh.
Yeah, you're there.
I changed my name now, but the little icon showed up on the side, so no longer contestant 14.
Sweet. How did you do that? So we can get contestant number 2 and 18 to show up.
So
Don't worry about him.
The quiz kit shows up on the right. It did not show up originally, but now when
Oh,
I scroll
okay.
over to the right, the little whoop slide out
Sweet.
shows up.
All right, next question. In season 3, which hero was a god to a race of underground lizard folk? Which hero? Was it Jix, Idrisil, Iggy, or Xander?
That was such a good scene.
Ah, click. Damn mouse.
Xander.
All right, since Tim was struggling, we'll let him have the honor of revealing the answer if you're confident, Tim. Tim, what hero was a god to a race of underground lizard folk?
Well, it was Jay Yggdrasil.
It was Idrisil. Is correct. We got a bunch of people with that one. I think Jeremy screwed people over with Xander because we have one person give Xander. All right.
Oh no, sorry, number 18.
Next question. Here we go. In season 3, who is the sorcerer from Azamir with visions of the future? Is it Xander, Kellyanne Vero, Yelena, or Maginor?
And I clicked extra fast on that one. I almost got it. It's like, oh no.
I think for you players, this should be a relatively easy one. Anyone care to reveal the answer now?
All right, Callie and Varro.
Callie and Varro.
Callie
Oh, we had some
Varro.
people select
A lady.
Maginor, and Xander was also selected as one of the answers. That is
I
fantastic.
think
There
somebody's
is
just
always
going with
the answer.
answer C all the way.
It's random, people. It's randomized. You're screwing yourself. Here's our scores. Sammy is pulling away 220,000.
Oh my
Chris with
God.
214. Then Tim, then Christopher, Can Monk, 7th and 8th place are also there with Jeremy and Julian. Next question. Oops, go down here. Next question. Season 3, gonna get a little bit harder. How many spires were part of Captain Jagged's secret lair? 2, 4, 5, or 8? Chris's weird eyebrows. How many spires were part of Captain Jagged's secret lair?
How many
Total
spires?
guess. Hope it pays off.
Ah, shit.
Oh,
Oh,
what'd you guess?
The wrong one.
This Captain Jagged.
this one to me, it's burned in my head. The visual, I know exactly where everything's at, so maybe it's just easier for me. The answer is Cinco, 5.
Five.
Oh, I got it right. Yes.
4 quarters and
Yeah.
1 in the middle.
Yep, 4 on the outside. Like I said, it was like the number 5 on the die.
All right.
All right. Next question. In season 3, who was Sir Brenros's personal nemesis? Raineth, Jix, Sir Kendall, Time.
Well, all of the above.
It's just it's so sad.
Time was not on his side.
Dragon?
Dragon.
Was that an answer?
All right. Now, okay, Jeremy, what's the answer?
That would be Sir Kendall.
Sir Kendall is correct. Someone picked Jix. I don't think those guys barely talked at all, but someone saw a little antagonism there. All right. Let's look at our score and see where we're at. We have 7 more questions to go, folks. We're getting towards the end. Here's our current score. We have under total scores, Chris has taken the lead.
Yeah.
Then Tim, Sammy, Christopher, Seth, Can Monk, Jeremy, and Alistair has come up from 20K to 77.
Slow and steady, friends. Slow and steady.
It kind of helps when you've been part of it, right? It's a little bonus. All right, season 3. This is long answers. Why was the chain gate dug out from Bottom Hill?
Nice.
Answers were a little long, so I didn't want to read them out.
Like all of these are
Oh,
festivals. I
wow.
love
For the
them.
Honor Kryn to cross into Varen as the first step in awakening Scourgeonar, to free Zolgath from the Swamp Witch as a transfer point to and from the Nexus.
Don't
Pick the
remember.
wrong one.
I know what
that
it is.
You know that? Who knows this one?
I know this one
Um,
hardcore.
I
This
know
is-
it.
This
All right, what is
burned
it?
in.
It is for the Honor Kryn to cross into Varin.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. All right, next question. Let's see if you remember this. I think so. In season 3, what dangerous noble house of Mirskan did the heroes offend at the Foamy Trumpet? I think I might ask Seth this one when we're ready. Is it House Nakor, House Relmar, House Vass, House Summerall? Are any of the spellings throwing you guys off? You're seeing the
Yes.
official spellings on some of these
Absolutely.
things?
A little bit,
That's
yeah.
not how that's written in my notes.
All right. What dangerous noble house of Mirskan did the heroes / Iggy offend at the Foamy Trumpet? Seth?
Oh, House Vass.
House Vass. Correct. Next question. Once it lets me. Once it lets me. In season 3, Who is the richest man in Tabernary who likes to throw the best birthday parties ever?
Second favorite NPC.
Is it Orien, Namarel, Anchio, Strel? A lot of L sounds.
I wasn't around for those bits, so I'm taking a total guess there.
Or you don't have to and get 0
I
points.
was there and I'm taking a total guess, Tim, so don't feel bad.
Yep.
I
just
will
came
help
up
you guys
earlier.
out. This was where Idrisil discovered himself when he went to
All right.
Enshiel's party with Sir Brenros.
Christopher, do you know this answer? You don't. You weren't there. Jeremy, do you know this answer?
Yeah, this was.
But I'm still playing.
This was Enshiel's house.
Anchiel is the correct
I remember
answer.
writing the teaser script, like describing the episode for that one, but I never listened to it yet.
I know you should. It's one of our funnier episodes. It is our
Both the episodes at his house were funny.
I've heard bits.
All right, here's our score. We have Chris, then Sammy, Tim, Jeremy has come up, Seth, Christopher is falling out. Hang on, Christopher, don't lose the Peloton. Then Can Monk, Alistair has gotten up to 101,000.
Can Monk, what are you
Things
doing?
that I wasn't here for.
Contestant 2's there. Jillian's at 32, and contestant 18. We don't know who you are, but we love you.
Can
Next
Monk,
question.
I was holding the rear for Can Monk. I don't know what he's doing.
Next question. Now these are the hardest questions. The next 3 are the hardest questions in the entire survey. Here we go. Good luck. In season 3, beneath the acid swamp in the spire of Keldian Daljar, what enemy did the hero square off against? Fell race of Keldian, a gelatinous cube, an ogre, a witch.
It took me a
Suck it.
second. I didn't
Suck
get
it,
my
everyone listening.
It took me a second too.
I didn't get my 14,000 on this one, but I'm still proud.
Oh, really?
I think. Oh,
Yeah. First of all, how dare you?
Alistair, do you know what it is? Are you confident?
If I know you, then the answer is gelatinous Q because of the square off pun.
No kidding, man. Oh, great. You should, I can't give you bonus points. I want to give you 1,000 points. That is the
So
correct
good, I
answer.
never even caught it. I just remember being in
Good
the
job,
acid
Alistair.
swamp. Nice job, Alistair.
If one of the questions which was asked of me, what was the most dangerously surprising encounter, the gelatinous cube was.
Yeah.
And I really should have known better. When you have a full gelatinous cube coming at you in a horizontal dungeon room, that's dangerous. But just sliding down on you vertically, oh, that got really bad real fast. Real bad. All right, next
old school
question.
nasty.
This is this really hard question. In season 3, what was Fiel's job as a young woman in Mir Skan? Is it farmhand, worker at a general store, pirate, clothes washer?
Hell.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm letting the clock run down on this one.
This is a brief mention in
I've
a
had to do that
script.
5 times.
I'm going back in my memory of that script.
Anyone at all feel any leaning towards one of the
I'll
other?
take a shot.
Yeah.
Clothes washer.
Yeah.
Here's the correct answer.
Nice.
Ooh, 7 people. That's impressive. That was just a couple lines in a script long ago. Well done.
Such a shameful script, though.
I was one of the general store guesses.
What do you mean?
There.
Oh, Palik was super ashamed because she was the episode before that about the murder, that poor woman.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
it knocked me down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chris at the top, Bat Sammy, Tim, Seth, Christopher, Jeremy, Canmonk, Alistair coming up. Contestant number 2 jumping up forward. Jillian and contestant 18. I think maybe the last 3 people have just fallen asleep at this point. Let's see what happens. We have 3 more questions left, and then we are done, and we'll know our winners. Question season 3. The heroes came across several journal entries from a long dead sage. What is this sage's name? Enpator, the Romarian sage, Gabe, Onarius, the feathered sage, Genwis.
I think that guy.
Anyone feeling confident at all?
Pretty sure it's Impetor, the Marian Sage.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it is
Yep.
too.
All right, and the answer is Onarius the feathered
Oh, shit.
sage. There are answers on all this. Whoever guessed Gabe, I'm going to flick in the head. All right, let's do one last peek at the scores before we do our final last two questions. Let's look at these scores.
Oh, Sammy nailed it. Good job.
We have Chris, Sammy, Tim, Seth, Christopher, Jeremy, Canmonk, Alistair, Jillian, contestant 18. All right, last two questions of
Double
our
or
big.
nothing. All the marbles.
Here we go. In season 3, what is the name of Jix's mother? Is it Mandolin, Jinx, Lady Talmaldrin, Mother?
No! Clicked the wrong one! Damn it to hell!
I teed that one up for you guys. And Jeremy puts his mouth on the ball, and all the parents just start wondering what's wrong with my special son. Tim, what is the name of Jix's mother?
Butter.
Mother is correct.
God.
Jeremy, is that you with mandolin number
Yes,
one?
man.
All right, last question of our awesome quest of questionable questions. This is it. Here we go. Last chance to get some points. Can you ever roll worse than a 2? Answers are never, yes, there's a 5% chance, all the time.
All the time.
Let's
The fifth
see.
answer is Brenros.
Oh shit.
Chris is throwing his hands up trying to guess what I put on there.
Did you
No,
really
and
pick
I know
never?
it now, and I got it wrong.
Oh, what do you think it is?
Never.
The correct answer is never. No one guessed it because our line is you can't ever roll worse
Yeah,
than a 2.
Yeah.
after I did it. Yeah.
It's a tricky question.
It's a
It's a
trick
tricky
one.
question. It's a good one.
All right, and we will go to our final results. Here we go. In first place is Chris with 287.
Wow.
Good job, Chris.
Wow.
Second place is Sammy,
5 hero points. Holy
277. Tim, 245. Seth, 236. Christopher, 232. Jeremy, 188. Thanks for somewhat paying attention, Jeremy, to the whole
I'll take
season. Canmonk, 176. Alistair, 97. Contestant 253. Jillian, 21. Contestant 18. Negative 22. So our Bard winner is Chris with 287. Chris will have 5 hero points.
5
to
hero
throw
points.
around. And then Bat Sammy is our winner. Good job, Bat Sammy. You will
Yeah,
win our
Sammy.
$25 gift certificate to the Drive-Thru RPG. Nicely done.
That's awesome,
Bats-
Tom.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that was great,
Great.
Tom.
So, Bat Sammy, if you can, in Discord, send me a private message and send me your email address. I need an email to get you that gift certificate, please. All right, let's take a break here for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to come back and continue on with a bunch more questions in our celebration of our 110th episode. We'll see you in a bit.
Cool, crisp, unfiltered, and full of flavor. That's right, folks. The Inglorious Bards. Live and lively, bold flavors, just a hint of hoppy bitterness, full-bodied. Only the finest of dramatic ingredients with notes of comic relief and tasting like it was bottled from the crystal clear streams running off the west peaks of Navarre just this morning. Join me for a pint, won't you? Every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Time at Twitch TV/Inglorious Bards.
All right, we are back, and we just finished our big questionable questions with Chris and Sammy as our winners. Congratulations again. Speaking of questions, we have a question from Sammy. Apparently, this is the Sammy show. Sammy asks, Chris, how badass did you feel murdering the senator?
Oh, it's awesome. That dude had it coming. I don't think I answered who my least favorite NPC was, but it was probably at least season 3, Senator Kethid. And actually, Tom, that brings up a question that I have for you. At one point in time, it was maybe an after show or two later, or at some point in time later, it was referenced back. And you said something to the effect that I didn't like that at the time. And it sounded like you had like warmed up to the fact that I had killed him over time. But like the moment came and went so fast. Did I misread that? Did you continue to not like that moment?
I don't know if I still like that moment. And just because it's so jarring and because I had so much moving with that character over such a long time, and it just came to me out of nowhere, and it was totally, in my mind, against Sildren's persona, and yet I absolutely love that he did it because it gave another layer to him that, yeah, he's this nice guy, he's part of nature, but he reaches, there's a point. Yeah. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it just, from a character point of view, just Sildren saw no redeeming qualities in that guy and felt like no matter where he was going to be, in jail, banished, whatever, he was still going to cause, like he was going to try to, like he wasn't going to stop. He was going to keep conniving and trying to get out and trying to take away the kingdom from the rightful king. And what do you so you deal with them. He's basically, and he was trying to bring the honor crin around, and that is against like the natural order of that world by bringing things from other planes into it. So,
Nice cover.
Yeah, so like zero redeeming qualities.
I'm going to jump in again. I got a lot of questions. Feel free if you guys have them to jump in too. We have a lot of fans who submit some fan work, a lot of art. We have some great pictures. We have had paintings. One of our most frequent artists is Frank. Frank has submitted several pieces of sketches and arts, and he has just recently sent a picture of some clay work he did creating Sir Brenros's chalice, which looks epic. Frank's question is, he's asking of us, the artist in me wants to know, what else would you like me to create? It's an invitation.
Wow.
I've got an idea. What do you guys think?
Can't you just do a full feature-length claymation of seasons 1, 2, and 3?
Can you do a flip book of the whole season?
Just reenact the whole thing in claymation. That would only take
one of
years.
Jix's bombs would be cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good one.
What was your idea, Tom?
I would like an illustration of one of my favorite places in season 3, and it is this warm, wood-paneled, cushioned, mist-like, library-esque conservatory of the Nexus. I would like just an empty, like, photo, if you will, illustration of that. That would be fantastic.
On the flip side, I would love to see one of the towers of Scoriel.
Oh yeah.
Like I've had some really cool picturings of what they've looked like, whether it's been in Thave or in Tabernary or
your background
up north. But yeah, just like
look at your background, Liz.
My is that
pretty cool?
There?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've been super epic. So I'm It's
So
one of those.
I'm not sure if Frank was the artist of these or not, but from season 1, some of the earliest artwork we got, one was a drawing of Puck, and
That was awesome.
the other one was, I think, the Nettle.
That was, I think, Eric in Texas.
Okay, those were awesome.
Yeah, that one a Puck with the bear as the shadow was awesome.
That was
yes,
cool.
Yes.
I think it was still Frank. I'm not sure, but someone made the clenching fist holding the symbol of King
Yeah,
Fay
that was
on
Frank.
the wolf. Amazing drawing. Love that one.
That was fun. All right, I got another question from Brambor asking, let's see, me, Tom. Tom, how do you design your campaigns, especially the worlds and the connections between individual quests? The world building in the Bard's adventures are just amazing and feel so real. I hope the answer is not a top secret guarded treasure, is what he asks. For me, the world building, it starts, particularly with season 3, it starts with some rough ideas or themes that I would like to explore, but then the meat of it is the map, because so much can come from the map. You start to visualize what's in that nook, what's over there behind that forest, what's in this mountain range. So the map was really important. I had a new tool that I used for this season to make the world with that map, and that map took forever. And if you are a patron, you can see a copy of it in Discord and on the patron site, high res version. I mean, there's so much texturing and stuff I put into it. Very proud of that map, but that map's really big. And then that starts fleshing out ideas. What I do then, I do stuff like what's the religion and the face? How do those faiths connect with each other? What are the different major cities and government structures? What are major NPCs? How do cultures and customs interact? How does the geography fit with that? How do monsters? What are villains? Not villains, but necessarily just, again, people with opposing views. And how does that all work and connect? And how has that gone over time? Then I destroy all of that, and that is age 1. So then I'm doing this Tolkien-esque vibe, not to borrow too much from the master.
Why am I not surprised to hear that?
So now,
Oh my God, that explains so much, Tom.
Yeah.
That really does.
So then I've got that, and then I do it again. So that would be the Chaloran age. Then I repeat that process again. And how does this time, what are they borrowing? What do they remember? What did they lose from the first age? How did they grow? What are the new kingdoms? What are the new faiths? Now I've got that for role playing. I destroy that. That is age 2. That is the old Byzantine Empire. And then now there's the third one. And so now there's some echoes of the old Byzantine, barely echoes peeking through of anything from the first Chaloran Empire. Now, what is left of the desert stuff and the desert gods from the Chaloran stuff? Well, that's just Thave, this dirty, scrambling, blah, 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 that used to be blah, blah, blah. What came out of the Azimir Island? Okay, that's Azimir. So that becomes the final age that we play with. And I don't know if I'd necessarily advise this with any burgeoning new game master, because one of the biggest mistakes you can make is making a lot of campaign stuff that doesn't matter. Always make stuff that the players care about, because they're the stars. But I always like doing a little bit more than necessary, so you can just get little hints of stuff, which gives it just a little bit more, I don't know, realism? I don't know. But that's how I do it.
Depth and history. It definitely gives it that, and we feel it. We've talked about it a couple of times before already, that the amount of lore that gets built in to a world that is that rich and that cared for and that purged and then rebuilt and then purged again. Like there's enough in there that when we ask you a question, you don't stutter. You go, oh, it's because of this, because of this, because of this, because of this guy. But you don't remember that because of these books. Where did you just come up with that? Yeah, it's super deep. It's impressive. Ooh. And it is not the lazy DM's guide from Sly Flourish by any means. I guess not. I'm assuming you're not just rolling tables.
No, not rolling tables. No. And then I know it's probably wasted time, but and a lot of this stuff will never come to light. You guys in the snowy island came across a collapsed statue half hidden in the snow. I know why that statue was made and why it came to that position, but you guys probably never will. But it doesn't matter. I think I get excited about that, and I will admit sometimes I will go back and flesh out some stuff from the first or second age just because it's cool and like, oh, what was that relationship and why did that really collapse? And I don't know, world building's kind of fun sometimes.
So Tom, was there something in season 1 maybe that you had were like, oh, I really hope I get to like show this off and that we just never did, or like we like almost did and then just ran away from?
With season 1, it's a little different because it wasn't me. It was Monty Cook's Tallest City, but then I added and expanded and put our own campaign, blah, blah, blah. So definitely, if anyone's interested in that, go get it. He did a Kickstarter about a year ago where he did it for D&D 5th edition. I think something, and the Cypher system. So he redid that. So you've got a couple different systems. So it's a great setting. Anyways, I can say there was 3 different areas that I was so excited you guys would head towards that never happened. The first is I wanted to see or get more value out of or explore more of the Bane Warrens, that evil vault of stuff. That had a lot of potential. The other one was underneath that, I can't remember the name, the cemetery district, were tons of undead of a hierarchical nature, and you guys met one of those dudes when he came into that mausoleum you were locked away in.
The dude with the sword, that guy?
The guy, he phased into the room and was knocking. You guys had to run like, yeah, you guys had to run like crazy. You spent the night when you should not have. Was like, I think the
yeah, the dude. I remember he had like a huge sword, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's different buildings and what's underneath those buildings and what's underneath that. And that's always been cool. But the one I thought was very interesting to me, at the end of some adventures, you guys will mention either at the end of the adventure or even between weeks, we'll talk via text and maybe we could go there or there. And you said one that I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't really, and so I fleshed out an area you guys thought of, and that was that dwarf outside the Bane Warrens who was on like a delivering, and then you put him like on guard duty or something. And then Chris or someone said, yeah, well, I think we should really go down and see what's going on with him and his dwarven people. So there's all this stuff set up for the dwarven people down there, and you guys didn't, and that's totally fine. But I was always interested in that.
It was like Redstone or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Okay, I'm going to spin it around then, because it's the question that I had that I've been really excited about. What character are you not playing that you wish you could play? What character have we played together that you wish you could have done?
This is for Tom?
This is for everybody.
Everybody.
I will take Tom and everybody else. Like of the other players here, right?
Ooh.
Xander, Palik, Iggy, Idrisil, Jix. Like, what if you could play a different character? What would you play?
I would play, just because of how well this character has been done to date. I would love to play Xander.
Those big shoes, man.
Yeah.
No, they're small. They're small. What is
Small, but
Unless you morph into
combat-wise, Master Yaru is like, I like the abilities and kind of the little bit of juggling that with the key points and things like that, the focus points and the 1-inch punch and how many actions you use for it, and it's your combat always interests me.
Yeah, I mean, I would reflect that back. I would play I was thinking either Sildren or Killian, just because I really I've only played martial characters so far, so I'm dipping into the spellcasting a little bit with what I can do. But doing a full-on spellcaster would be really interesting to me. But more Killian than Sildren for our story purposes, just because I loved Killian as a character so much.
I've always wondered what it would be like if Christopher had played Puck and I had played Olgrim. That's like to date still like one of my favorite like relationship dynamics. Like those two loved each other so much, and there was so much heartbreak over that relationship with Olgrim retiring, which was like none of us knew that was going to happen. I don't even think Tom knew that was going to happen.
I'm not sure Christopher knew it was going to happen.
Until it happened, yeah. And then Puck dying, and Christopher really just like opening up his guts.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, his epitaph was amazing.
The epitaph for Puck was huge, with the rain coming down, everyone else leaving to go inside for the wake, and Olgrim staying out there a little bit longer was huge. And then at the very end of that whole season, having Olgrim come in and Christopher riffing off just a quick end cap to the whole season was really cool.
I want to say, Christopher, and especially as Olgrim, he always knew exactly what to say at the right time, whether it was a heartfelt epitaph or like some just nonchalant, funny, witty comment that just made us all belly laugh for a minute. Like, Christopher always just knows what to say, and that is
Christopher's style. Christopher doesn't. Christopher's not the Jeremy Zanner. La la la. You know, he's not out there pushing himself. Christopher stays back, but then when he comes in, it's just what that scene needs. It's really cool.
Yeah, Christopher, you're truly a master with that. That's you've had some of, I think, the most kind of heartfelt. I mean, like, we've all had them in spades, but you know, I think you've had some of the most heartfelt, emotional, like impactful speeches or comments, or, you know, like your story arc in that, even short in certain episodes. Just some of them, you know, they just give you chills, you know.
I appreciate that. But to that end, you should all recognize that the only reason I'm able to do even an ounce of that is because I can riff off of you guys. I was referring to more about that emotional trust, that kind of thing, you know? Like, when I get teary-eyed on some of the stuff, I'm like, man, this is a character arc that's going to come to a close. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy that we put in. And it's like, man, and you guys make it happen. So anything that I do is only because you guys are open and willing to explore that kind of thing. So I love working with you guys.
And kind of in that same vein, and I'm not sure, we were bouncing some questions around, but and I'm not sure if it was asked. It's mine. What character death has hit you the hardest? I'll start. Puck, just like that, because that was just like, because I know Elmon was probably closest to Puck of all of them, even though Puck's first love was always Olgrim, and and so that was just hard. And Elmon felt responsible because they took him into the mausoleum.
That was tough, man. That was
don't yell at me, but how did Puck die? I can't remember the final blow.
He was caught by I don't remember her name, but she was a sorceress.
We were down in the mausoleum with the stairs. We like the messed up stairs, and it was one of the main antagonists that hated me, his wife, that he was bringing back from the dead or was in the other plane or whatever. And we fought that battle. That was a hard battle.
Right.
Yeah.
Both Elmon and Avius rolled natural ones, trying to and they were doing some big time attacks, trying to take her down. They both rolled natural ones, and then it was her turn, and that's when she took out Puck, if I remember right.
Yeah, and I think
Well,
I think the round before that, like Elmon missed, like uncharacteristically for him, like he just failed at something, and
for several rounds, Puck was in like a ray, like couldn't do anything. And
Yeah.
Tom kept trying to give me outs, and I'm like, no, sticking. And then finally, it was like, this is your last round, and I think Puck went
you crazy
like
goblin.
ultraviolet on her.
yeah.
A lot of Brenros in the chat.
Oh,
My hardest
Chess
death
is Brendan.
was
Brenros is
actually
death.
Brenros
an
was
NPC.
rough.
Yeah.
What's that, Tim?
My hardest death was actually an NPC.
What's that?
Jinx.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, that's a storyline that would
Jinx
have been
was
cool.
not a major player at all in the story, but for Jinx's background, she was huge.
Yeah.
She was right there every step of the way in his background. So that was.
I still remember your face, Tim, when that happened, and you were crushed. You were just like
I was.
crushed for Jix.
There was
We've been dead for
that was a
several
lot of
episodes.
unexplored content there too. Tim, there was I think we may have even mentioned it. You had mentioned your background and where you would come from, Amir Skan, and you had been taught alchemy as Jix. So I had your old master there and connections possibly to get Jinx back. Then there's a whole Wraith connection, but none of that mattered. Just a different path, and yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't think you guys ever told Mother that, did you?
We never
told
told
us-
Mother about Jinx.
No.
You told the dad that, I think, and
Yeah,
he said
he just said don't mention it.
he said no. I
Doubt.
think my big death, Puck would be one for sure. The most shocking one to me would be Elmon at the end of
Yeah.
season 1. But an interesting, touching one is the freaking Magnificent Seven. Everyone's going down at the end of season 2, and knowing that that's what's happening. Kolsch and Catherine and Albus still going up, committing to dealing with whatever that Antanas situation was. Albus is then gone. Kolsch and Catherine going down a level, and then that's going down fast. And then Kolsch like bursting out of the window, just going out on their own terms together was super cool.
Yeah, that was amazing too. That was a I would put that right up with probably the most amazing death. Like, just I think that was one of the like coolest scenes for a death scene.
Well, if it's story driven, and my own personal answer would be Killian's death.
Yeah.
That one that affected me as a player so much more hard than I was expecting it to. When you had the letters that you gave out to us and we read Killian's letters around the table, like the full on I'm tearing up thinking about it again, but like the emotions that Xander had, the gratitude and guilt and shame and loss, like all just kind of like pouring into that, and acknowledging that like you said, this was a choice that you were already prepared for and ready for when he went into it. But man, it was a heavy blow, and the first loss of the whole crew.
And ended up being kind of prophetic with his letter to you, saying that, because I remember, Killian said he basically sacrificed himself because he saw great, like you doing great things, Xander doing great things, and then now you're the only surviving original member, and you're teaching, this weapon that we have to point at.
Char Ice.
Char Ice. So his words live on.
Right.
Don't die.
Oh no! More to live up to.
Brenros dying and us like foreseeably not being able to recover his body is kind of crazy too, because one of the last things he did was he tucked a letter into his armor. He has that dagger, and then like his shield, which like,
Oh, you were about to say all the loot he has too.
He does have quite a bit of platinum on him.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel the need to go back?
I've got a question from Turd Smugglin is the person asking the question. Turd Smugglin asks of Christopher, what was Rill's backstory all the way back in season 1? He had something going on with his family and the Chaos Cult, but Christopher was always so delightfully vague in character. Thanks for answering. We love you guys.
Well, Rill's backstory. Holy cow.
Can you remember?
No, I remember it. It's heart-wrenching every time I bring it up. But so Rill was a halfling, and he was kind of in the realm of the Fae a lot of the times. That's pretty much how he existed, this ephemeral lightness that he always had. So whenever he played music, he was kind of in between reality and the Fae. At least that's how I like to consider it. So his whole backstory was he was separated from the Fae, leaving behind family and all friends and all this kind of stuff. Essentially a village just far, far away. And I'm trying to recall some of the stuff. So his big gimmick was that he has the blue mist appears kind of thing and is able to kind of rewrite a situation and whatnot. But it was actually some of these things were like visions into the Fae where his family was. So he would see the family running around and enjoying themselves while you were trying to do whatever. And it was the whole point of that was to illustrate that they had actually died in some massacre, whatever. Their only solace was the Fae, this dreamland where they actually lived from that point. And he was able to visit and go back and forth in very specific situations and give those visions to his compatriots and whatnot. So it's more or less that. But he had a thing where he was tracking down his only child who had survived this massacre and was trying to figure out a way to get her back. That story got left behind, and I think at some point it was revealed in the Fae that she had actually passed on, and it was a very tragic story, but we never really touched on all of it, so it's not. Yeah,
and that's more my fault than anything. Christopher created it all, but it was just more one of the biggest, I think, failings, if you will, of our whole role-playing experience with me is just there's a huge constant drive. The enemy is coming. You've got stuff to do now. So it's really hard to sometimes branch off into the smaller stories at times.
Well, that actually brings up to one of the questions that I had, and forgive me if we'd already talked on this, but was there ever any point in your character's background, either season 1, 2, or 3, that you wanted to touch on but couldn't, and it was like really profound and would have made like a really cool situation, you know? Anything like that for anybody?
Ignal had a huge background that we never really got to touch on, but his parents, his whole village was decimated by orcs.
That's right.
And he had this dagger he carried around, he still carries around, and he wanted to find the clan of orcs responsible, but it just one of those things.
Yeah, it's still going, so there's opportunities for it. Xander is on a giant level of exploration, and so there's a whole hope for understanding where his magic came from and why he has it. He's a bloodline sorcerer, so there's supposed to be a bloodline, at least as far as he's concerned, where he has this elemental sorcery and no history of how he got it or where it came from, and no sense of the destiny or purpose in it other than what Killian bestowed on him, actually. So he's hanging on to that, and really looking for still not just finding his place in the world as this young gnome, but finding his place in this world as this solitary first-time sorcerer from Edlin Home, and learning what to do with it.
I personally think that's a really interesting thing, as opposed to where did it come from, like this, I am the genesis of whatever this is. Maybe I pass this down, and how do I figure that out? I think that's really, Xander's arc is a very interesting one, from this silly young little guy to this slightly less silly, slightly more older guy, is very interesting to me.
Now slightly jaded.
Yeah, there was a moment you said in one of the episodes recently, Jeremy. You're like, you were talking to Yelena. You were like, I'm the only one of my kind too. I've never met anyone like me, and I was like, oh, that's a really interesting point. We haven't officially said sorcerer, I don't think, as for an enemy. It's all been witches and gypsy. You know, maybe there has been one, but
well, he's met one, right? He met that gnome right at the very beginning,
right.
But not the same kind, Vargalos, right? And still didn't really. Totally was prepping Vargalos, by the way, for a quiz question. Putting that out there, had that ready.
I removed that question at the last minute, actually.
I think Yaru's background stuff may be forthcoming with the Taurite sequence we had, so I'm not as concerned about that. I will say we are a day's journey in the Ocarina Forest from where Idrisil was born and raised up until he went to Edlin Home. I've written a whole backstory about that. That, you know, probably won't, but you know, was ready for role play. But yeah.
Tying off of that, Sammy asks, what would you like to explore narratively in this season or future seasons? What would you like to explore narratively? Anything come to mind?
In a particular world, or
just themes, ideas, or concepts?
I would like to do, I know you guys just did a space adventure in the last season. Hearing that really got me excited for role playing, because I've never heard a futuristic style of role play like that. But like a cyberpunk type of thing would be interesting as well, or like a Halloween one-shot adventure with all the different monsters, vampires, werewolves, and you know, Frankenstein, things like that. A Western, is that what you said, Tim?
A Western would be fun.
Yeah, something in the spaghetti Western
Yeah,
style,
specifically spaghetti.
Yes.
Maybe linguine Western.
That sounds like at least a great one shot for sure. Yeah. I would say for me, and Alistair and Jeremy, you may not know this, but my themes that I really like exploring, I don't do in the Inglorious Bards show. And I think some of the older players may know it. We have had seasons or campaigns before we started recording that have entirely different tones that are much more, I don't know, adult or darker, maybe a little bit too much to say, but more heavy themes than we're used to. We had a sci-fi theme, a sci-fi show, campaign that was very fun. I don't know how many adventures it was, 10, 12, 15, 16, but it went longish. We ended it. It was great. And then Tim said, I'm out. I can't do the next one. And I was like, what's wrong? And he said, I enjoyed it. It was fun and I loved it. But Tim said, I can't do the next one. Do you remember why, Tim?
It was such an emotional toll on me. We did every other week, if I remember at the time. So every other week I'm driving home and I am just emotionally just like battered and beaten and exhausted because we're in this like, you know, underdog situation every week. And it was hard. It was hard. We were up against a fierce enemy and I just took it very personally, I think, every week.
And then we did the water adventure campaign after that, which was again oppressive. Who can you trust? And what are the dark themes? So I tend to like those. I go towards those. I find it interesting to explore those, but I don't go deeply into that with the Inglorious Bards because I am going for a much more popcorn fun, let's go for adventure style thing. But things still do show up. I dip into that with some from time to time. But
So my question now is, in season 5, do we go into the Choloran age of Varen? You know, like
that'd be cool.
The cyberpunk age of Varen.
when the Dance of Dragons in HBO comes out, we also go back in time in our world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a fan of the there's a little bit of the fact that there's ruin, right? Like we have so much ruin, so things are there to be explored, or things have been left behind by those before us. And I'm always a fan of the brand new unknown, like you just were talking about, like the fully unexplored, the completely wild and mundane, and the history that you're expecting to be there, or you know, the ones that have come before you. The idea of being the frontiers, which can be anywhere. That can be sci-fi, where you're exploring new planets or new stars, or that can be terrestrial, where you are going into a terrain that's never been touched, or certainly never survived and talked about. Like I'm always a fan of those, because the idea of having this just different sense of, you don't know what your threat's going to be. You don't know how bad it's going to be, and you don't know how far you're going to get with it. So every step is calculated, is measured, or is not. Is just jumped in and see who splats first. Like I always find that to be really kind of exciting, with just the sense of not. I think I probably calculate in way too many things in my personal life as it is. So the idea of having a full-on safe space unknown sounds like a really great place to explore and play.
Well, I don't know if this is the complete opposite, but I'm an H.P. Lovecraft fan, and I love the end of the world scenarios and truly dark and crazy stuff. If I were to cast my lot to anything, that would probably be an area I'd like to see.
Are those kind of themes where they're more dark or Lovecraftian, or some of these more adult themes I mentioned from our non-published campaigns, are those approachable to the podcast audience, do you think? Or is that not what they want? That D&D, I want to kill some kobolds.
I think so, because especially like Christopher's, bringing up the Lovecraftian type of themes. They're modern-ish, so they're more approachable in that sense. And I think even though like it's Cthulhu bringing down the end of the world, like I think we could make it a couple of comedic jabs at him. Like,
It is dark. It does lack the the jovial possibilities given.
We can last man on earth our way through.
God. All right, I've got 2 questions for Jeremy from our fans.
Okay.
From Brambor, as Xander is basically a smaller, more adorable and innocent version of my own character, what do you think? Are all elemental sorcerers just ticking fire bombs ready to explode and burn anything and anyone in their path?
Yeah, that's a real interesting kind of point. So the fire is something that kind of grew up out of him. To be perfectly honest, going back to our character concept for creation, my original thought was young Aang the Avatar from Avatar The Last Airbender. That was what I was picturing, was this young kid who's got all of these new powers that are coming up, this air bending and earth bending and fire and water, and no real guidance on how to use them, no real direction on where they go or what you should be doing with them, but a sense of overwhelming purpose that's just kind of like pushed on top of him, or this doom sense. And I wanted to make it a bit more fun. The fire ended up being, that's actually the bloodline elemental piece that he's got. And so it kept growing and growing, and almost always to the detriment of everyone that he's around, because there's never a real sense of control of it. So I would have to say that if you are also playing a gnome elemental sorcerer, the idea of having power that you don't know how to use seems to kind of go and play with that. Again, if you're going with a bit more of the, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm trying to figure it out. Though I gotta say, now recently, there's been a lot more of a turn of that. There's a lot more of a use of the magic, especially when he's learning new spells. It's never about what's the biggest, baddest, burningest thing I can hit with. There's a lot of contemplation about what he's had to go through, what his friends have had to go through around him, and how to get around those. So I would say continue to let your character go up with it. But Xander he was always a little bit lost, but never quite as blow it up and see what happens as maybe Jix was.
All right, cool. And then the next, Tim, you have something? Tim does not have something.
Maybe he has
No,
something.
not necessarily.
I mean, bombs away, bitches. What's wrong with that?
I love that was his line when he came back. What was it, like on episode 16, and just out of the flying over. I just love that line. Anyways, the next Jeremy-related question is from Choya Charger. Have you guys considered rotating the task to do the recap of the previous show? Jeremy does a fantastic job of it, but it'd be great to hear from the other bards too. Their view of what was important or what stood out would add a different flavor to the history of the events. Thanks. Well, I can quickly say, Choya, that we try every week to have someone else do it, but Jeremy demands to be the one.
I have one contract. It's just got 2 lines on it, and at the bottom it says, has to have extra screen time. That's all it says. And so that's where I tend to squeeze that in.
How about next week then, Jeremy? We have someone else do it.
Okay.
All right.
As long as I get my extra time in the end. Just
Okay.
my contract.
Done.
Recap the episode afterwards.
And the
Anybody's
post
taking
cap,
bets?
the episode that we just did.
Yeah. If anyone's taking bets on who's doing it next week, let me know.
The over/under, says Seth.
No.
Any questions from you guys? Otherwise, I've got like 5 or 6 more. over here.
I kind of still have a question for Jeremy on
It's all
just covering everything you were saying there. What is your, and I guess Xander's perspective been like going from level 1 to now? As Chris said, he's the only one left. He's the only core defender in the group. You know, we started with these 4 heroes, you know, bumbling around, and you know the task of saving the village was thrust upon them, and now Xander stands up with a bunch of animals and dwarves, and you know, like, what is going on in his head with all of this?
There's 2 thoughts I have. One, not all the defenders are gone, right? Yggdrasil and Iggy,
Right.
they still exist. They just they moved on to different jobs. But I remember Xander came up with the names. He loved naming because he loved being a part of a thing and having a whole group of people to do it together. So we're the defenders of Edlin Home, right? He really wanted to own that. He wanted to be that guy, and then kept going. Kept. We're gonna do this thing because I don't really believe in myself, but we're gonna do it together as a team. And it's now got a bit of an actual legacy behind it. There's a true reputation that's actually been built there, and so it's a brand new set of defenders. It's a whole different group. Well, not brand new, right? Like a lot of characters have been there forever. Sildren, you've been there for a really long time, and it's still the defenders, even though we fit different molds. But I gotta say, the biggest change probably in Xander's demeanor is that there is a Yelena now. I would say consistently, Xander always perceived himself as the youngest one. He was the kid of the group. And no matter what the emphasis was, no matter what the excitement was, or wherever it was, Xander was always allowed to just be a little weirder because he was the young kid. He was the one that liked drinking for the first time at Peg's Tavern and whatnot. He could get into it, he could get away with it because he could fall back on everybody and he knew they'd catch him. He's not the youngest one anymore. And he's kind of accepting that a little bit. They're like, oh, I have to be responsible. I can't just run around and do funny things. I get eaten by dragons. And not just me, but now other people are dying too.
You know why we had
So-
to do that though, right? Because the show jumped the sharks. We have to bring in the new little kid.
That's what it is.
The new Cosby kid, so that you're just not adorable enough. No, I'm just
Gives that character. It's not there anymore. Yeah.
I
Your
thought it was
demographics are falling off.
kidding. Yes.
I thought it was the screen time. We had an equal time.
I have a question for you guys. Have there been any twists to any of the stories we've done over the last few seasons, and what one was most interesting for you, if any? Or has it all been pretty obvious and you know where to go?
Go ahead, Tim.
I think season 1, episode 16, the Gray Ascent. We get it from this dude, and Olgrim puts it on, and now we're in a battle royale with our own guy. Like, I was still relatively new to role playing at that point, and that just blew my mind. And the fact that we just all went with it.
Not only that, but I think it was maybe Christopher as Olgrim. I think it was Christopher who like kicked it up a notch, and the rest of the group's like, "Oh, this is how it's gonna be. All right, let's dance." Yeah. Oh,
No,
it got real.
Christopher went crazy, and we're like, "Oh my god, what do we do?"
Yeah, that and we were, and I remember the energy in the studio getting tense, like when we were in that scene, because I mean, I felt the tension because I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's trying to kill us.
From that underwater adventure, which nobody has heard, but Christopher was the Cylon, and Chris. Like, I think it wasn't until season 3 that Chris finally started to trust Christopher.
I agree,
Oh, I still don't.
100%.
Are you kidding me? I'm always watching.
I'm gonna heal someone other than Sir Brenrose.
Yes. it's a hard.
But yeah, Olgrim
down.
came within a hair's breadth of killing Puck. Like, it was nuts. That was a tense episode.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, then wait. Yeah, that moment was a decision of, okay, do I make for this, or do I try to get back this one piece of the Gray Ascent, which had been taken from my guys? So the way that I treated it was essentially my precious.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do anything to try to get that back. And there's Puck bleeding out, a point away from death. And I'm like, I'll kill him. And then, yeah. Yep.
I liked a minor twist myself of you guys chasing after this killer named Reese, who then turns out to be someone that you do want to help and end up joining with, who ends up losing his life, I believe, on the Senate floor. Didn't he? I think so. Or is that someone else? Anyways, I thought that was interesting. Another one, maybe just because it's so recent, was the script of last week's episode of Raineth going to Edlin home. That changed things up.
That was a twist.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, and it's a player knowledge, not character knowledge twist right now. So there's like a weird level of irony that we have going on about this level of information that does or doesn't exist yet because no one knows about it. We're all stuck up north in the ice.
Schrodinger script.
Yeah. Bringing Yelena on was kind of a twist I didn't see coming too.
I agree.
It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's awesome, but like, yeah, it was not something I saw coming. I'm like, we're gonna drag an NPC around? This is gonna be weird.
Right. Hasn't gone well for us in the
Season 1, Elmon kept trying to get us to bring NPCs along, but nobody would let us.
And Yelena was one of those, do you go that path? Do you not? Do you go this path? And you guys chose that path, so it's interesting.
Are there any paths, Tom, that like you've been like just completely baffled by the fact that you were like, oh, I so thought like I spent like I prepared this because I was 95% sure that they do it, or are we just pure chaos to you?
Yeah, I mentioned the biggest one for me still was that the whole dwarven area in season 1 underneath the Bane Warrens, and an area connected to it, which there's like I don't want. Yeah, okay, maybe I don't know, but yeah, there's
still holding back from season one.
always. I'm just always because you gotta maybe reuse material. I don't know. But
He's like, well, we have portals now, so they could.
Yeah,
go
totally.
back.
So there's a bunch of stuff I thought you're definitely heading towards. Also in season 1, there was a lot more stuff with the orcs away from town that you guys went to. There was the cliff and the boat chase, but there was a whole other island and thing and stuff that just didn't happen because Avius had to piss in a bush. Which is fine.
Avius had to piss.
So that's certainly there.
Partial planning.
I still have rough feelings about that.
It just makes my blood pressure rise.
And season 2, it started, if you look at just a big picture, it started with, I think, 2 big choices of where to go. And then you came back and you think you went and ended up going to both those choices. Then you went to the Rallis mining thing. You left, came back. Then I think there were 3 or 4 different big paths to take. You guys decided we're going to go and take care of this Rallis mining thing. And so that's where it went and the season ended. So there were 3 other paths of just like, oh, cool. Can't wait till I guess not. So yeah, there's so much. And we were just beginning to get the hints of some long arcing stuff. Yeah.
I was super excited for that Devin as a class was really interesting to me. And although he never managed to hit with his little void ball thing that he was able to throw, I just was excited to see his powers grow and see what that class would turn out to be.
And I've got one from season 3, recent, very recent. I don't think is spoiling anything. A couple episodes back, Bali, the dwarf, mentions, well, we can go here, but Bali and I think Yaru is talking about going to the temple and all these different paths, but Bali says, well, we should, since it's in the Jarvain Cold Mountains, we should go look at the Grey Hold of my dwarven allies over there. But you guys have other things to do, not heading that way, fine. But then you guys recently in this warm wooded environment have this NPC gnome who came from there. Bali makes one mention of, well, you came from there? Yeah. But then after a couple more minutes, you guys let him go. I was like, oh, that's interesting to me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Good thing we didn't kill him.
I've got like
Spite what Sildren wants.
I've got 3 or 4 more questions left. You guys have anything? Otherwise, I'll dive into it.
I have sort of a different question for Tom. One of the campaigns before we got into recording, we played with the cipher system in one of our space ones. Is that something you would consider again? Playing with that?
Yeah, Cypher is by Monty Cook. He did Numenera, and then he made Cypher as the genre-less version of it. I like the Cypher system, the cool, you spend your bonus dice or whatever it was, but that's also your hit points that you're spending. That's a constant choice. That's fun.
I always liked the random items we would get.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, the ciphers.
Yeah, that's right, the ciphers, yeah.
The concept is, it thematically, it doesn't necessarily make sense in some settings. It works best in his Numenera, but the concept is every magic item is a consumable. It's a one use only. So you lose a ton of value because that magic staff you can't use 5, 10, 20 times of the campaign. You use whatever it is once. So it's like the potion equivalent. But what you do then is you raise the power of what those things can then do one time. And so I can, as a game master, it's super fun because I can create game-breaking things in, I think in our case, a low sci-fi setting You can give game-breaking teleportation, instant heal, whatever it is, because it's not going to break the whole system because it's a new ability that now they have forever. It's a one use. I really love that concept, and I can't quite use it here in Pathfinder because Pathfinder has a whole economy of items, and you need this much and this much and this much at different levels. But that's a really fun thing to the Cypher system for sure.
Reminds me of Gashapon.
That's
Maybe
true.
it's duck.
I have here Tom from Sammy. What was in that, in all capitals, what was in that secret place Olgrim missed when he was crawling through the shit? This has been asked a couple times in the past. Christopher's raising an eyebrow. Does anyone know the location? I think I know the location they're asking about.
This isn't the one with the secret door and the symbol. We went down and there was the
No.
wraiths. No.
That which was hauntingly interesting. No. This was, you guys were exploring after the rat folk. You went down into the sewer and you, instead of going right, you went left. And that's where the rat folk were at. And I think I hinted at some after show or something like that, that there was something to the right. And there was essentially an enemy there who was not a strong enemy, but moderate to weak. And within was a small room with a trap or something, again, moderate to weak. There's a bunch of junk that was in there to add further clutter. And then hidden within that junk was a bunch of minor magic items, like a whole bunch of minor magic items, kind of this collected layer of stuff. So that was an interesting option of stuff that could have been there, what was never explored.
Major
There you go,
study.
There you go.
That was probably one of the ones that I found to be hilarious and incredible. Was when we were in Major study and just found item after item after item after item. And not too long after, we found a bunch of items of relative value at the spires. Right, Captain Jagged's private stockhold had a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we
and
had
then-
Santa Tom for a while.
Well, so was Major's the one where I was pissing off Seth, but not
Yeah, I was about to
pissing off Seth?
say.
Yeah.
He was getting so mad. So many items.
Yeah, there was a pile. I think my note list had a total of 15 magic items at one spot.
What's the biggest regret one of your characters has had?
Oh wow.
Oh.
Standing
Stabbing
one
the
more time.
entropy sphere.
I think that's it. Questions and answers.
You were so confident too.
She said I'd know what to do, and well, she lied.
Both sitting there at the pearly gates going, nah.
Yeah.
What was yours, Tim? You had one?
Standing up one more time.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's that one?
Jix.
Jix, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That'd be one of mine.
he was
Ignore.
being resilient.
Not
It was
just
like his
going.
third time, like getting up from near death.
Yeah. What was Ignal's?
Being right there when Jix got down and not being helpless. I mean, pretty much.
For Elmon, it would have been outside of the entropy sphere, not following up on the early quest that he was given, and having the merchant, I forget exactly what he was, but his like merchant friend that was the connection, ended up dying. But that was also a fantastic battle because we were much more powerful, and Avius throwing down the fireballs. I was probably the one time that Elmon was really a big fan of Avius, and just the revenge netted out that day was awesome.
I remember you, Chris, just being upset at leaving that behind, that quest, and that guy getting killed.
And that was a real pivotal moment in my understanding of how you role play, Tom, in that the world is continuously moving and transpiring, and like that side quest isn't just sitting there with the guy with a exclamation point over his head waiting for you. It's like there's consequences for things you do. So
Actions taken and actions not taken.
yeah. Yeah, and that strongly affected Elmon as a character as well.
I think for Olgrim, it was misusing a natural 20. I think a wild night with a bog leg lady, that natural 20 would have been really something.
Yeah, Puck. So, how do you envision your bog-legged children
Oh,
having
they're
played out?
long dead by now. They're short lives. That was so funny. I completely
that
forgot about
was
that.
I was uncomfortable.
Especially at the length it was played out, you expect it to end short.
Yeah.
No, still gone.
Nope, still gone. She brings you wine.
Yeah.
She's wearing something flimsy, just want to be out of this scene now.
All right, I have two more questions. My last two questions. One's from Sammy. Sammy's last question. What do you look forward to most for each session?
Oh, that's a good one.
Laughing.
For sure. Especially this last year with us all being remote, just like having that like constant Tuesday night, like I know what I'm gonna do, and such like a very weird time for everybody.
Yeah.
Like none of us have gone through a pandemic like this, and just being able to see your faces, even if it is on a screen, it's just like something that's definitely helped me personally get through this year.
I think it's an anchor for all of us to,
Absolutely.
the connection.
And I know personally in my family so many people who have not been able to get back to the things that helped them ground and the things that helped them get through things. I have a lot of friends who are dancers and a lot of friends who get together for board game nights, and they have missed this kind of connection. And it's absolutely been a part of my sanity for sure, being able to see you guys every week and be a part of this. And truly the thing that I really look forward to, like I love hanging out with you guys, but like what sets me up and gets me in the zone is our scripts. I know I'm not a part of them every time, and that's cool. I'm actually great with that. But like having the script and like setting up the story and getting that started, it's like having a really great song that always like it's my walkout music. It's that rev up to like, okay, here we go. Like every time we have the scene set up and ready to go, I love them every time. It's just I always look forward to it every week.
That's cool. I like the scripts take time to write for sure, because I write them and I rewrite them, and I may not read like it, but there's rewrites and stuff, and it's just for like a few minutes. It's like the amount of time invested versus what gets on screen, if you will, is so out of proportion. But as Jeremy said, I like it because it can recap a little bit more what's happening. It gives you guys, originally was intended to give you guys also a warm up and get your characters stuff into it, but then sometimes it can recap some choices. I've done that a bunch of times. We can go here, here, here. And then the other one that we've done a bunch this season is doing different things with the script. I mean, we did like Fiel's life, an NPC that had very little meaning last week, of Rayneth going off on his own thing. We had a flashback with Sir Brenros I really liked that totally defined him midway through his whole journey of him starting in Calavier, that script. So yeah, I think
oh my God,
they are fun.
Alistair, your voice of the Queen of Calavier. I was going to bring that up earlier. We were talking about voices. Like, definitely one of my favorite voices you've ever done. Like I saw her face when
it's my absolute favorite thing to do, and I'm honored, and I could not be happier that this is the we're doing it on a platform for people to listen to and stuff, let alone just hanging out. The fact that I was I got to audition to be a part of a group of friends, and it worked out, I think, is one of the greatest coincidences in my life. So I'm super happy to get to spend a night with you guys. and for it to be
Contracts
so
up for
silly.
renewals.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting any money, unlike some people, Jeremy.
Get a contract.
That was my first mistake in Hollywood. No,
Collective bargaining
yeah.
agreement going on here.
The voices, the silliness, the depth, like you guys were saying, the lore dumps in the scripts that we do, like in and out of the script, like it brings so much meat into the world. It really I really feel like I am Yaru, I am Idrisil, when I go into those characters to play them. So during the few minutes we have before the episode, I'm really coming into how would that person act and feel in this moment.
How do you guys deal with the scripts when you get them? Is it that you have it? Okay, it's in my email, and then right before we start, you just sight read it? Do you just go through it and check your line? Do I have some lines? I'm just curious.
I always go through whenever we get it. If I can, if I'm at work or something, then I'll wait till I can. But as soon as I see it and I'm available to, I'll read it and go through to see what the line is, if I have any, and then I'll, right before the episode, maybe an hour or two before, for me, I'll go through the whole script and get the tone of it. So I'll really only read it 2 or 3 times, if that.
Cool.
Yeah, I pretty much do the same thing.
I
Get
read
the
it
email
twice
that says-
all the way through, and I prep and I change emotions when I read. So I first do it for everybody, just like get the text what it is. Then I flip it so that when if I do have a line, especially when it comes up, it's a natural reaction, and it's a real piece rather than sight read, because I hear it in my head if I'm not genuinely attached to it, and it drives me crazy.
Jim, you were saying?
Yeah, it's not a big thing. I usually get the email that says everybody who has lines has gotten the script, and then I go angry masturbate.
Right there with you.
Any other questions for the group here as we wrap this up?
I have one for you, Tom. Is there any battle throughout these 3 seasons you wish you would have made harder or softer on us? Or just made a subtle change?
Good question. Recently, the battle with Vodak turned out much easier than I expected. Vodak the Dragon.
Shit.
Easy?
I was expecting some bad stuff to really go down.
You know what's funny about that? We kind of stopped that battle halfway through with a big epic Yelena meteor shower scene. I genuinely thought in that week you had made him less difficult compared to what we had faced before. Just because the battle seemed to be not easy, but it was like, I didn't think this was going to be a hour-long fight. I thought this would be a 2-episode long thing, just on his titles alone, Champion of Charais. But yeah.
But I'm fine with that. Sometimes, the encounter stuff doesn't line up. But there was also, and I can't remember who it was, maybe 5, 10, 15 episodes back here in season 3, there was a big bad guy. You guys were going to town. He was rocking you. Things weren't looking good. His enemy's probably rocking you. And then you guys got a couple good rolls, and then all of his next rolls were like just terrible critical failures, and the whole battle just completely shifted. I can't remember what it was, but I remember like, wow, that was so going one direction and everything changed. But then I'm also totally fine with that, because combat in my mind shouldn't be you're 10% higher, so you will guaranteed win this battle. There's chaos of war, and you guys get screwed over constantly. You will race in with your sword and stumble and fall in your face right in front of the guy's feet. So when the opposite happens, sure, that's fine. Yeah.
What about I know there's like combat and then exploring. Is that the other 2 versions of the game? But what's another one of those scenarios that we're not in battle per se, but a challenge or a puzzle or something that you thought might be too challenging, where I just sit back and watch everyone else solve it?
We got so stumped on puzzles, he finally stopped giving them to us. These guys are too dumb for these puzzles.
I'm also just thinking of Xander underwater in the ocean contacting the Chiloran god or whatever.
Oh my god!
Making the boat sink underwater? Like, how did we kind of talked about it in that after show, but like things like that. What is the concept in your mind of?
Well, I'll definitely say you guys have nailed I don't know if nailed. You guys have survived and gotten through the last few puzzles things, particularly Magenor's classroom. It took a little bit, but you guys got through that one. I will say there was one environmental scene that suddenly I was like, ooh, wow, this is not good. And that was Olgrim swimming into the long corridor with the undead just underneath. And it's like, holy crap, he's like cut off now. And this is super bad. So that got a little scary for sure.
I was close. I was like one or two rolls away from one or two bad rolls away from giving Olgrim a funeral.
Olgrim is always one or two rolls away from a funeral.
That same thing happened with Iggy.
I'm sorry, not Olgrim, Iggy.
I was about to say, that same thing happened to Iggy.
Sorry, that was Iggy. Iggy
You're
season
right.
3. Iggy season 3.
I still love the after that was like settled and Ignal didn't die, of Xander just throwing his ice bolts into the water, just killing those zombies, just going ape shit. I still think about that. It was funny.
That was a good scene. It was also like a tense scene because Iggy may not have made that one.
That was
close.
In the chat, Can Muck has a suggestion of maybe an encounter that was maybe dialed into too high, and that was the finale to season 2 of all the
Totally balanced.
I will say in season 2, there were a couple outlets of ways to get out. Killian came up with one all on his own, which I thought was really cool. There was also Devin, sorry. And there was also a significant underground area underneath Warehouse H that I had two different battle maps and enemies and stuff, but you guys like flooded it or did electricity or something and just
broke the elevators.
Yeah, and you just messed up that whole area, which was, even though it's down in, there's several paths to stop and limit and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that one definitely though, whoosh. I think Jillian said it best of like, I thought there was much more of a choice for you guys. And she's like, no, there's no choice. We had to go down with the ship and save it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that sucks then for you guys as players, but that's also cool to me that you guys thought that at the same time. I don't know if that means anything to you.
For sure.
Mindset, like
Jim,
we
you're
don't
muted.
have a choice.
Yeah.
I'm muted?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, that was like, at least for Albus, like, I think for all of us though, that was the mindset. Like, we're prophets. We don't have a choice here. Like, innocent people are gonna die, and we need to do something about it. Follow-up question to that. So what's Augie up to these days?
Christopher?
Oh, wow. Didn't we go over an end game of August?
I mean, a little, but you've had more time to like ponder it. Sleepless nights.
August always had the bug to build, and I think it was encouraged. It was encouraged by one of the creatures or NPCs we came across, where he was an actual crewmate to a ship, but I tried dismantling him. Do we remember that at all? All hell on a diplomatic level was pretty loose, but after the whole bug incident, I think he went off and started doing like like Android level, create the best companion and have a love life again.
We mentioned encounters that may have been dialed in too much, or at least got out of hand quickly. Here's one that I don't think was dialed in too much, but you guys got weird with it. And that was season 2, when you first boarded the world ship Ornua, and there was the simple customs robot that was just there to lightly antagonize. And all of a sudden, everything's going wrong. Catherine's causing problems. There's like someone being choked by it underneath.
Yeah,
Kolsch is
Kolsch was rolling ones all over the place.
That's one of those, what the hell?
But the whole premise was relatively simple. It was there to like tag an unlicensed creature, which was Kolsch. Everyone tried to rescue Kolsch, and this thing started like wrapping these people up to ship them off or something. It was so
I had
weird.
no idea. It was supposed to just be antagonizing you, maybe request weapons, be checked. But suddenly it's like, oh, wait, there's an animal that needs to be like quarantined. Yeah, let's go with that. And all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
All right, I have one. I think this is our last question then of the night, unless anyone has any others. I have a question for you all, and that is, what's an accomplishment within the Inglorious Bards show that you're most proud of? Not necessarily your character's accomplishment in the story, but something within about the game or the show that you've done or we've done that you're most proud of. I know it's just role playing and we're just having silly adventures, but anything that's really proud of?
Finding a following on Twitch was surprising. Especially like the rabid following we have of like a handful of people is shocking to me every week.
Yeah.
I will say this article from the Tiger Times
Yeah.
is one of the coolest things that's
pretty
ever happened
cool.
to me.
Tim,
Is
I
that
still
me
have
in
your
there?
copy.
Oh no, it doesn't.
I and kind of in the same vein as Seth, I think being part of a drinking game is like one of the coolest things that I've ever been a part of. So
It's a very hard drinking game too. A lot of rules. A lot of rules. As a player, very hard to do.
Yeah,
me,
go ahead.
For me, it's some of the pride that I have is the pride that you guys show for the show and the effort. You guys show up, you role play and all that, but then you guys also commit. And when there's equipment needed, you guys get it done. When there's time commitments, you get it done. Back when we were doing just the podcast and we needed to catch up, so we had bonus episodes, you guys were committing extra weekend days, and then being there consistent. I mean, the number one complaint all GMs have are players that don't show up, and how do you wrangle them? And you guys are absolutely committed to this, which is totally appreciated. That's huge. On a personal level, we've gotten some feedback throughout the 3 seasons of fans who have gotten into role-playing just from watching our show. There was a guy who said he got into role-playing with his son because he liked what he saw other people trying it, saw the fun you guys had and wanted to try it myself. The fact that, what did we say? Roughly 380 hours of content. I think I've mentioned this in an after show before. If you're watching a 30-minute sitcom or an hour-long drama every week, you're looking at maybe 20 episodes, maybe 30, 40, 50 episodes for a sitcom. We blow away that content in a year, and that means there's such a huge draw that people have to your characters. They are with your characters so much, and they can be huge emotional highs and silliness. So that's a big draw we have over other things, and that's really cool. To get to my final one, and I know I've mentioned this like 3 or 4 times, I'll mention it again today. So we're able to reach people, and people, when characters die, we've had people like, I might be Sammy or some other folks who have said they have teared up at work and have to excuse themselves because so-and-so has died, and they get emotional about it. That's powerful that we affect people. But the one story that still gets me to this day was a lady talking about season 1, where she said they have a newborn, and she and her husband take turns when the newborn wakes up, and they will both listen to at different times the Inglorious Bards when they're alone for a couple hours just with this baby really sleepy, and like that's their connection. They have friends that can be there for them at any time, and they really appreciated that. I thought that was super cool.
Baby's first words are "bombs away, bitches."
Yeah, I'll apologize to that baby personally for going in some words prematurely.
One can only hope.
Who's ready for adventure would also be pretty damn adorable.
The first, yeah. Oh, well, it's been 110 episodes so far with the Inglorious Bards. Any final thoughts from any of you guys?
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, all the work you do, Tom, it does not go unnoticed by us. It doesn't go unnoticed by your fans, our fans. it's an incredible journey we're all on. So
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
prep time and energy that you put into this is phenomenal. And, thank you
Absolutely.
for making all this possible, because like we all alluded to, it's an anchor for us all this year, and you're kind of that anchor. So
Cool.
appreciate you.
I am
And-
so excited to see your guys' face in person
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
That's coming up next.
Chill out with you guys
That
again.
is an
It'll be
episode away or
amazing.
some such.
Oh, we have some technical things we got to figure out, but yeah,
Yeah.
it will be.
And I would say a big thank you to you guys for sure. It's fantastic and absolutely fun with you guys, and then to all of our fans.
Yep.
We've got dedicated people that show up every week on Twitch that are always there chatting and taunting and all sorts of stuff and making fun of us, which is fantastic. We have people on our Discord who are chatting and talking about different theories and just talking with each other. We've got people that are supporting us with money on Patreon, which is always appreciated. Help keep this the services and all the different things we have going. There's definitely costs associated with the show. Twitch as well. But then there's a whole bunch, several hundred people every single week that are just silently listening and joining us, and that's absolutely appreciated. I mean, that's when we hear even just a couple kind words or just seeing another 100 people downloaded last week's episode, to me, that's food for the soul to keep doing this and putting the effort into not just role playing, but putting it out there. It's always appreciated for sure.
For sure.
Or
All
see
right.
What's next?
Okay, well, thanks so much for everyone listening. Thanks to all of our players here. Thanks for everyone who joined us live. And this was 110. We will see you next time at 220 episodes. That's celebration. And have a great night. We'll see you next time.